can see all three of us?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. We're live now. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our channel members, as always. Nicole Miles, Joey Thibodeau, Angela McNamara, Suryak Toast, Randy Snow, Alicia Snow, Kenny Snow, and Rick Pinkney. Appreciate the support. And for those that don't know, right now, this has nothing to do with me. YouTube has a sale on memberships. So usually the price is $4.99 per month plus tax. Right now, your first month is would cost you $2.49. That's something YouTube is offering. This has nothing to do with me, and it must be something that their marketing people worked out. But anyway, on the thumbnail that I was putting up on Facebook, we talked about the new blood and arm wrestling, and we have a couple of fairly new arm wrestlers. Andrew Yakomovich, I said that properly?
You did, yeah.
And Andreas Loomer, said yours properly.
Yeah, you did.
God damn, I'm learning. Who had both started recently in the past couple of years, and I just thought we'd have them come in and get their insights on what brought them into arm wrestling and what they're making. So, Andreas, let's start with you. Why you got you first interested in arm wrestling?
Honestly, it was my little brother. Shout out to him, Nico. He was really into weightlifting, and then he went to a competition in Virginia, I think it was.
Okay.
And he just ended up getting second place, which to me was crazy. I was like, he's going to go arm wrestling and get put in his place, right? But he came out, and then he got into it, and then he showed me the ropes, and suddenly I fell in love with it. He actually, you know what he said? He said, "You got long arms, so you'll be a good arm wrestler." And I was like, "All right, I'm sold. I'm not good at anything." So.
And how were you in the beginning? You're just going to practice, and
I mean, I'm long and big, so I had that leverage advantage, but I was like, it was like a learning process.
you didn't have a clue what you were doing, really, did you?
No. Luckily, my brother taught me well. He taught me well. Like, he was very slow and progressive.
So you were a little bit prepared before you went to your first practice.
Yeah. Before I went to my first practice, I knew the basics,
okay,
more or less. But I had so much to learn. I mean, every time I arm wrestled with somebody when I first started, I was learning something new. Everybody taught
still
me
like
something.
Yeah,
Right. Exactly.
We're always learning, right?
Yeah.
And what got you first interested?
I was one of those guys that, back throughout my 20s, even earlier than that, I was just one of the guys that arm wrestled drunk.
Okay, yeah.
Drunk at a party, drunk at a bar, whatever. And I was just one of those guys. Of course, that's totally different than actual arm wrestling, as I came to learn in the last few years. But one of those guys that was good at, I would always beat the bar, beat the party, right? I was always one of the better arm wrestlers in that regard. But then, of course, I don't know. I think I somehow stumbled across Devin Laird on YouTube.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, it's a real sport. And then one thing led to another. I ended up at a practice in Sackville 3 years ago. Like I said, I went to 3 practices. And I quickly learned how terrible I was at actual arm wrestling. Very quickly. You weren't with your drunk buddies at a party anymore. Yeah, it was a wake-up call. I was terrible. Like, I was just absolutely terrible.
I remember.
I didn't know how to pull, of course, right? Like, no idea. I had no idea. All I knew was bar arm wrestling. So, no, it was a wake-up call. And like I said, I did those 3 practices. It was too much for my poor arms. I said, screw that. I'm not doing this anymore. I'll still follow the sport. I still continue to follow the sport for the next 2 years. And then, like I said, this time last September, I decided, let's try this again. I said, screw it. I'm going to go to a practice. And I showed up, and then here I am, still sticking with it. So.
But not a bad introduction if you stumbled across a guy like Devin.
Yeah.
At his stature.
And I feel like that's a pretty, well, I didn't see him in person. It was
no. It was on YouTube.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a lot of people say that. I feel like my story's not that original. I've heard a lot of other people like, I rabbit hole on YouTube and watched Devin Laird and turned into, I want to try arm wrestling. So that was kind of more or less where I was at. And now I follow a lot more than just Devin.
Okay. Right? We had, my wife and I had to buy a new washer and dryer. Delivery guy comes, he carries them upstairs, and he says, "Do you have a pen?" I didn't bring my pen. So I whip into my office. He looks behind me and looks around and goes, "Should I know you?" I'm going, "No, you should not. You should not." He goes, "Do you know a guy named Devin?"
Yeah.
I'm going, "Oh, really?" "Yes, I do know a guy." No, really, you really know Devin? I'm going, "Yeah, I've known him for about 20 years. Yeah. I couldn't get rid of this guy."
Yeah, he was interested, eh?
Yeah, that's just the questions start coming, but it was just one of those things.
What was his connection?
Probably YouTube.
Just YouTube videos.
Watching, just new.
Yeah, now if you look at the guy, he was just, obviously spends a lot of time in the gym because he was just jacked.
Yeah.
And with jacked, I don't mean he was juiced up on steroids or anything. You could just tell this guy spent a lot of time in the gym.
Muscle, huh?
Between that and delivering appliances, right?
Yeah.
Like, but he must have kept me going for like a half hour, 45 minutes. I'm going like, buddy,
Yeah.
come on, I'm trying to get.
And he wasn't an arm wrestler.
No, not an arm
So
wrestler
I
at
feel
all.
like Devin, he's gotten to the point now where he's, I guess you could say famous, quote unquote famous enough outside of arm wrestling that people that aren't arm wrestlers know who he is now. Not everyone.
No.
But that you mentioned that you're into the sport of arm wrestling. They're like, oh, have you heard about that Devin Larratt? Maybe you mispronounce it or something. Or whoever. I think it's just a Canadian from Ottawa. I'm like, yeah, I've heard of him. Definitely heard of him.
I know about him.
Yeah.
Why don't his YouTube channel he just reached another peak? Didn't he reach?
Oh, yeah, I think he's.
It's 400,000 or 500,000, 500,000,
something like that.
like an insane number.
Yeah.
So it's 500,000. So there,
That's insane.
big.
Especially for the sport of arm wrestling. I did my first tournament in 1985.
Yeah.
There probably wasn't a 500,000 people across the world that
No.
knew about arm
No.
wrestling. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first world championships I went to, they were operating on 3 tables. Right? Yeah, the WAF was still building and growing, and it was fairly small. But so you were a weightlifter or a trainer? You trained?
I was never like a competitive bodybuilder in any sense, but I've been going to the gym steady for the better part of the last decade.
Okay.
Nothing, just for my own.
No,
just a hobby essentially for my own health, and that's basically it. Honestly, I never did any arm wrestling specific workouts until.
Do you now?
I do now.
Okay.
But like I said, obviously with my injury,
You got injured.
yeah, that's another story. But no, I was coordinating. I was doing both. I was doing arm wrestling specific as well as go to the gym, do bench press, do the stuff that doesn't relate to your forearms and your elbows and your wrists so much.
It doesn't, but that
But
chest development does make a difference. It does help.
I find it's an interesting topic because some people can get without it, and other people I feel like they desperately need it, like the overall body strength.
Yeah.
Some people they only specifically train arms or arm wrestling, the wrists, and they're awesome. And other people they need to rely on that overall body strength. And I feel like I'm one of those guys. I can't rely on just my little tiny hands and wrists.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I love.
do you know what I mean?
Hand,
Yeah, so,
exactly.
I mean, I'm still training them. Yeah, better, but I feel like some people really need just that overall body strength.
Well, I've had people tell me that, well, John Brzenk he's never gone to the gym.
Yeah.
So you honestly think that John Brzenk has never been in a gym?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, he just says all he does is trick. Okay, folks. So John Brzenk has progressed through the sport so much that probably now he doesn't need to go to the gym and do a full body workout anymore.
No.
Right?
Well, he's also, I think he got I don't follow him a whole lot, but I think he got like all his fans bought him like a pulley machine and all the handles, and he started working out doing the arm wrestling stuff at home now.
Okay.
And now he's doing that. Like at least before he said he never used to, and I guess he does now.
Well, you know what I love about John? He's got those old school, like the gripper, for example.
Yeah, he's got all that basic
Big
stuff,
about
right?
stuff,
And,
yeah. Old
and
school
apparently,
basics.
I've heard that he was big on just table time. Like that's where he
Huge on
just,
table time.
just built his strength from table time. So,
I did hear that, yeah.
But back when I actually arm wrestled once in a while, so Rick and I would do 3 or 4 days a week in the gym and at least 2 practices a week.
Yeah. See,
So,
I couldn't.
oh, for sure,
dream of
2.
that
You
right now.
handle it on your tendons?
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
once you're built up, this was after being involved in arm wrestling for a few years.
Yeah,
So,
right.
look,
Exactly.
I can remember Rick and I driving home from a tournament, and neither one of us could lift our arms to drive.
Yeah.
We're driving like this, right?
And,
You know what? And you got 2 grown ass men ready for tears because we're just in agony.
I know the pain.
Right,
I can relate more than I want to.
That new guy
Oh,
pain
my
is.
God.
Ooh, you must have went through that in the beginning.
I was gonna say honestly a little bit, but maybe I just took it really slow, or like I said, I never did any sports, or like, and my brother always preached like being slow into it.
Yeah.
So my tendonitis was never horrible,
Yeah.
but like again, like I don't go crazy deep into hooks, right? Like I'm a huge outside guy.
Yeah.
I like to work those angles. Like
I've seen you
Yeah.
go deep inside like at matches.
I'm starting to do that now.
And
Yes.
you always perform pretty well.
I feel like I've been spared by the
Shoulder
tendonitis. Yeah, the tendonitis.
Look, if you miss all that pain, then you're lucky.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm polar opposite of him. Unfortunately, I go harder than I probably should have at every practice, and I'm in constant pain. I can't practice. You say twice a week. You were going.
We were practicing.
I would
twice a
love.
week.
Like, listen, if I could pull every day of my life, I would. I swear I would. But I could barely get by with 1 practice a week. It was too much.
Wow.
Right
It can
now.
happen.
Yeah, well, and everybody reacts
And
differently.
over time, I'd love to be able to do 2 practices a week. Love to, but no way. Like obviously, right now I'm off the table, but over the last year, once a week was pushing it.
But probably 25 years ago or so.
yeah.
Well, Rick and I, we practiced twice a week, but it wasn't the way you guys practice
Yeah.
it. right? So one day would just be all slow, static stuff,
which is good. Yeah.
right? And that's all it would be. There would be no hitting.
Yeah.
And involve nothing like that.
I love our practices. We go balls to the wall.
Yeah,
a lot of the
sometimes,
time.
well, it can be hard to control, right?
Right. Well, but towards the end, you're all, you got you're sweating, and you got.
And then
at the end, you decide you're like, we're gonna hit, we're gonna be ready to go.
Yeah.
So, even though you probably shouldn't be, and then you regret it the next week because the next week straight your arms are.
I was just saying, you guys are all burned out at the end of the night, and the old guys like Rick
will just go. Yeah.
They're just warmed up now.
Oh yeah. Like,
Oh yeah, Chris loves it. I love pulling Chris. He'll go right till he'll go forever. Really.
Chris won't pin anybody either.
No, he's just full. He's like defensive.
Yeah, he completely goes back and forth, back and forth.
I don't know if he's defensive when he pulls in matches, but he is certainly a practice.
Not that he's not defensive in matches, but back a few years ago, I'm not sure now. He's pretty beat up and broken down now.
Yeah.
But his hand, being a mechanic, his hand that's how he was dominating people.
Oh yeah, his hand's huge.
Yeah,
and
he's a one.
Yeah.
His hands.
Working those wrenches, man.
The first time I ever gripped up with him, it was brand new to arm wrestling. I had no idea how to pull, like I said, and I remember him. I was like, what the. He doesn't look like anything.
No.
Like anything intimidating, right? Like not.
Chris isn't intimidating.
Well, he's not.
No.
He's a nice
guy.
He's a nice guy, but like you grip up with him, like, oh my God, his hands swallows my hand, right?
Yeah. And back a few years ago, before he got broken down, and he's a world champion, right?
Yeah.
He won a world title.
Oh yeah, right.
But his hand was just dominating. He was dominating some of the super heavyweight guys.
Well,
his hand was just that good.
He's got a bigger hand than some super heavies, I would say.
Absolutely.
At a one, well, I mean, he's probably competes over 198 now, but I think he was 198. He said back when he competed.
Yeah, probably.
So he had a super heavyweight hand on the 198. Right?
Well, yeah,
and that's like someone else that comes to mind is John Terrian. You know John Terrian?
I know
that's
John fairly well.
Another guy that everyone says he's got like a super heavyweight hand on a 176 or a 198.
That's John from Ontario.
Yeah, he was living here for
last year,
8 months to 9 months or something, and then moved back
right through us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he's only gotten better since then. Like I follow him pretty.
Really?
He's like I'm like a fan of his. I got him on Facebook, everything,
Right.
and he's only gotten better, just better and better. Yeah, he's a freak.
The last time I saw him, I was at Michigan State's.
Yeah.
And he shocked everybody.
Oh, yeah.
He just tore through people like they weren't even there.
People didn't even know really who he
No,
was.
they
And then
didn't
like they had, I remember Chris Mowry. I don't know if you know, but you have a match, a feature match. Chris, anyways, he's like a ranked 176 in the States.
Is he ranked?
He is. He's like he was like a number 7.
Sure.
And you watch the match with John Terry, and it's like it's right to the pad.
Yeah.
I was like, everyone's like, okay, who's this John?
Who is this guy?
He doesn't give you time to engage an hour.
Just instant inside. That's where he likes to go. Inside, right to the pad. And he was just over arm wars too. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I was aware. I had is the match.
The match is not out. I can't wait to see it. I know he had several matches, but he pulled Frode Hoagland.
Okay.
So that's a huge
That's a big match.
So, and I don't think he would have been the favorite in that match. I think Frode was like 210 pounds because I was talking to John. He was telling me. He's not allowed to tell me the results.
No, and
as you know, right?
Yeah.
But he said it was a great experience.
Wow.
I'm sure. I'm excited to watch it.
He has no international. I mean, this may be his first real international experience.
I think it would be.
I thought so.
I'm fairly certain it is. Yeah.
So look what it did for John Thompson, Uncle John.
Yeah.
Right. It really. And I'm hoping he's getting more and more offers out of his performances over at Arm Wars. I have been to an Arm Wars.
Yeah.
I went over and filmed Devin and Travis were playing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I remember. I've seen that. Is it the one where they were wearing yellow shirts back in 2008?
It was 2008. I don't remember.
In Vegas?
No. This was over in England.
My
wife and I actually went to England.
Okay, that's what it was.
Okay. And in Manchester. So I have the match up. I think it's one of my biggest viewed matches. But honestly, right-handed is a shit show.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's brutal.
You can imagine Devin and Travis, right?
They're screwing around at the table.
Them on the table.
The cheating,
I think they actually got to arm wrestle twice.
Really? Yeah.
Right? Now there was decision in 6 different matches, but they only actually arm wrestled twice.
Fouls and fouls.
Sounds about right? Yeah.
For these two guys, there's this is just the way it is. This is the way the game gets played.
Yeah, it's all about the setup.
It really is.
Yeah.
And
that's arm wrestling. That's half of arm wrestling that I come to learn.
And unfortunately,
you lose the setup, you probably don't lose.
You do. They had, and I really like the referee that Neil had. Mick, he's a really super guy.
Yeah.
He just kind of lost control of who was in charge of the table. It became Travis and Devin. Who was
We
in
got
charge.
two giants like that too.
You gotta have a ref
Absolutely.
that takes control. That takes no bullshit. And
Iron Will.
Yeah.
it's tough. I can only imagine it's a tough job to do.
So have you guys been outside of Atlantic Canada arm wrestling as of yet?
That's where I started. Yeah.
Which was where?
Maryland, technically. I think actually my first competition was in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Coliseum League arm wrestling. I did anybody from
Well,
I was watching, but you know.
No, but I've heard of them. I've
Coliseum
heard
League,
of them,
I got a T-shirt and everything. That would have been 2019.
Yeah, okay.
18.
Not too long.
It's hard for me to realize now. That was the very beginning though, and I got second place.
Cool.
But what they did is that nobody was in my weight category, so they put me down one.
They put you down one instead of up one.
Yeah, because the only people that I could pull were like basically the three other guys or the two other guys who were like almost within novice. Yeah,
Novice
exactly.
pullers, yeah.
Within. Yeah, so there's only like two novice
So
pullers
176.
who were slightly close to me. Yeah, so I just ended up pulling like this 16-year-old kid who was really strong. The Steve's son. I doubt any claw viewers are watching main guy, and this other kid. Great fight, but it was like I was like I think I was 22 or
you were
21.
a full-grown adult man,
Yeah.
beating up on little kids.
I don't know, and I was also like they were like 170 and I was close to 200.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I got second place, and man, that shot me to. I was like, my God, I can do this. I can do anything now.
But that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It was a lot of fun. Philly's got a lot of great pullers too.
They do. I have been there a couple of times.
Black
yeah.
Ice, for example. And
Oh, yeah.
I've never met him. I've watched him and watched him.
He's a ranked 154.
I hope he's
Yeah.
coming to New England Championships next
It's so
weekend.
fun.
Is that where you're going?
I'll be there next weekend. Yeah, we
Yeah.
leave Thursday to head to Boston.
Yeah, and the odd Eastern European kicking around who always like
Oh, yeah.
shows us up. But
That's right.
Shows
First
how,
man in
shows how
school-
strong Europeans are.
Schoolboy in person
Oh, yeah.
was at the New England Championships in 2019,
Right.
and everyone was talking and talking and talking. And I watched. No disrespect intended.
Yeah.
Too much hype for this poor kid.
Yeah.
No, and look, and he's
It's still
growing.
like that. It's still like that.
It's unbelievable.
Truth be told, I mean, he's a talented puller, no doubt, but he just got mopped by a non-arm wrestler.
So was the match like him and Khalid?
Yeah.
Khalid? I don't know how you say
It was
his name.
honestly a pretty good.
Was it good?
It was a pretty good match. Khalid still doesn't know what Khalid.
I'm not sure how you pronounce his name either.
He doesn't really still know how to pull that well.
Okay.
Truly, he separates right away.
Yeah.
But I think he's just such a freak of natural strength, and his hand is so
Yeah.
naturally strong that he gave Schoolboy all the trouble in the world, and it was a back and forth match.
So Schoolboy lost the match, right?
Schoolboy lost. Yeah, which is, I mean, Schoolboy actually was a heavier opponent. He was 275 and
No, he's at the.
6'4", 275.
Wow, that's thick.
He's big, and
Yeah.
Khalid was like 266, so
Yeah.
close. But you wouldn't expect him to beat like this Schoolboy. But
Well, he's won a world title.
I know the under 21.
In his buddies in his class.
Yeah.
Look, we've been to the Worlds and we've seen juniors come out of the junior, win a gold medal, and win the seniors.
Yeah.
Arsen Liliev from Russia.
You're right. Yeah.
When I started watching him,
That guy was nuts back in the day.
but he was as a 15-year-old kid, he was just super talented.
Yeah.
Before he became muscular and
Yeah.
ultimately he got
He was
suspended.
he was an actual good puller.
He was a good puller,
Yeah.
but then he became a great puller.
Yeah.
Now
All hopped up on juice and whatnot. But that's
that's the. I personally don't care.
not at all.
You want to juice your
That's
but
part of the sport.
whatever the
unfortunately.
rules are in that tournament. That's why you have to abide by.
Oh yeah. Whatever
Right.
the rules are, right?
Very
Yeah.
rare that they're tested anyhow, from what I understand. So
Well, apparently at the IFAs just this past week, they pulled a card and they were being tested,
Oh, yeah.
and they were told they were being tested. They ran away.
they said sorry.
No, literally ran out of the building and down.
Building. Oh.
And there's people like chasing after them.
Jeez.
But so that's an admission. That's just like
Yeah.
refusing the breathalyzer
That's
here
all
in
it is,
Canada.
yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So now, I believe what they said was now that's a 4-year ban.
Is that what it is?
4-year ban.
4-year ban.
So
and
actually,
then
you know what?
IFAs.
I want to say that IFA last year. Sorry, I just said that hardly anything's tested, but I remember last year IFA was tested. Worlds.
Yeah.
It was in the States.
That was in Orlando last year. Yeah.
I remember it being tested.
And I
So-
don't know
so
the
I-
answer, but and I know Rick will know the answer, and he may watch this when he gets home from France. But I'd like to know how many because testing is expensive.
Yeah,
I'd like to
and
know how many
and that's
tests
what-
they're doing.
And that's what Rick mentioned. So I think it must not have been everyone. It must have been like maybe randomized. I don't know. That's something I don't know.
So I worked for the WAF for like 10 years,
Yeah.
filming, and I actually got to sit in doping control.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, while they're doing, I don't like the guys coming over, so I watched a couple of individuals, no names will ever be mentioned, and they pull the card over, and it's a blank card, so they're not getting tested. He looks over at me and winks because him and I both know you're juiced to the max.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, who
Get
cares?
away with it, right? Yeah.
I really don't.
Well,
I know they accused Ryan Espy for years and years and years of juicing.
Yeah.
He tested.
I'm sure there's ways.
People need to shut up now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
right,
probably
exactly.
protocol that they take. I'm not speaking for Ryan in particular.
No.
But I'm sure there's protocol where they cycle on, cycle off, can test clean, and then do it again. You know what
I would
It's
think.
not like if you do steroids 5 years ago or last year or whatever, and you're not gonna still test positive for steroids if you're currently off.
Well, you know what I don't know about the drug testing is marijuana is now legal in Canada. It's a banned substance.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They can still drug test you for that, man.
I used to work out in the oil patch, safety sensitive industry, and
Yeah.
they were really hard on. Like, I worked there through the transition of Justin Trudeau getting elected and getting weed legalized and everything. And beforehand, there was always the drug tests for
Sure.
marijuana, and throughout it being legalized, still same thing.
They're still testing for that,
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
and you can lose your job.
Absolutely.
But you're not going to lose your job because there's alcohol still in your system left over from the weekend.
Crazy, I know.
So there's something wrong about that,
It's
isn't
definitely,
there?
everyone said it's ridiculous, but they just stuck with it. That you do a 5-panel drug test, and if you have marijuana in your system from, apparently it sticks to your fat cells and it can be in your system for 3 weeks.
I've heard 30 days.
Yeah, so up to 30 days. So imagine you smoked a joint 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and off work, not even at work, and then you get piss tested at work, and then you get fired. It wouldn't really be fair.
Well, it wouldn't be right, and I
It wouldn't be
just
right? But that's how they do it. That's how they do it.
they do it that way until there's a court challenge.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
That's what's it's going to take somebody to push the issue.
I'd imagine.
Well, luckily, going back to armwrestling,
Yeah.
smoking dope, I don't think it doesn't really give you any
But if it's,
advantage.
no, but if it's on,
I wouldn't think. I mean,
it's on
I don't
waters.
smoke weed really.
Yeah, but if it stays okay, I smoke a joint and then I head to France. It's on my system and I drug test.
Yeah, that's true.
Although
But
it's
what are
not
they
legal
testing?
over there.
But what are they testing for?
Whatever's on the WADA
Right?
list,
Yeah, okay.
and marijuana is on the.
It is on it.
Yeah, well, it always was.
Yeah.
So you can't. So
Don't
I'm not going to say that all the Canadians are in trouble, but
Some of them believe it.
Yeah.
I bet you a pretty good number of that team.
Oh, I was gonna say too, because those kind of rules, like, just they exclude people, really. And I'm sure companies who have got rid of those rules because they don't want to exclude people.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it funny.
It is weird.
People drinking.
Yeah.
And you're going to come to show up to work Monday. There's probably still alcohol in your system.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fire you for that.
Of course not. That's the old stigmas, you know? Right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Where we're currently broadcasting from, as it became legal, there was one of the condo owners is saying, I don't want to see anybody smoking a joint. I'm a reformed cigarette smoker.
Yeah.
I don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to go back to cigarettes. And
Yeah.
I said to my wife after we come back from the meeting, I said, the first thing I want to do on October 1st, when this becomes legal, is light up a joint and walk down the hall.
Puffing around, yeah.
just to piss him off, because you're going to deal with me.
Oh, man.
I'll deal with you.
Yeah,
Smoking
right.
joint right in your hallway.
Yeah,
Could be
like,
worse. Could be a lot worse than a joint. Right?
Yeah.
well, it really could be.
Cigarettes.
So somebody was out on one of their balconies here smoking a joint. So we go, that's nice smell.
Yeah,
And
right.
Smells good.
somebody complained.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, what are you going to do? If I sit on my balcony and have a beer, you're not going to bitch at me, are you?
Yeah, right.
Right,
It's like
so-
it's something that'll take time. It's just like
Yeah.
there was prohibition era once upon a
No,
time.
absolutely.
So once upon a time, back before I was alive, before any of us were alive,
Yeah.
was it the 30s?
Said, "Hold on, I'm not that old, dude."
That's a while.
Come on.
None of us were alive, but I'm sure you're aware that alcohol was illegal too. So.
It was, and Canada made a lot of money selling to the Yankees. That's for sure.
Yes, a
You
ton.
know your history.
Back and forth across the border.
Al
Yeah.
Punk came up through Nova
Oh,
Scotia.
really?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
He used to live here. He had a residence in Saskatchewan.
Yep.
Um,
St. Pierre and Miquelon, the little French island off Newfoundland's coast. It was a
Yeah.
huge place to drop by.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lots of wine.
I didn't know that.
Andreas with the history lesson. Hey, I
Yeah.
didn't like that.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
I had to go back to school and learn stuff. Man. I don't know anything.
Okay, so let's get back. So you started off in Philly.
Hmm.
So were you living here? Did you live somewhere else before?
at the time, I was living with my parents in Maryland. So Philly was
So
just like
you American?
No. I technically Canadian or I'm Spanish Canadian.
Okay.
Like my mom's Spanish, my dad's Canadian, but
Andreas.
I only went to the States because my dad had a job.
Okay.
Technically, we're just international workers.
Right.
People always ask me that question.
Yeah, I feel like
No,
I've
I
asked
was-
this before.
I was just living in Maryland, and Philly's like a 2-hour drive. There was like a big competition. Yeah, and it was amazing.
Did you hit any other tournaments after your first one, or?
There was another one. There's a second one in Philly.
Okay.
I think the same kind of thing. I didn't make it to that one, and then there's a WAL one also.
Okay.
I think in New York.
New York State?
Yeah, my brother went to that one, and he won one of the ones.
Your brother's like a pretty seasoned puller, isn't he?
God, he's so good. He always claims that I can beat him on the right, but no way.
He pulls pro, right?
He's
like,
he's left-handed. Yeah.
Have I met him?
No, he's still out there. Yeah, but like last I heard, he was in Philly and he won semi-pro left hand, and then he got like second place.
Yeah,
pro semi-pro right hand,
that's
something
impressive.
like that. Like it was, he's always doing great
no
stuff.
slouch. I've never met him, but I'd like to.
But yeah, no, like there's that one in that WO one that my brother went to that I didn't make. He got this amazing medal. This big old WL medal. Like so
I see
awesome.
Rob and Angela McNamara actually went to that with
really?
Joyce and Al King, and I seen the medals that they captured.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. WL medal would be sweet.
But yeah, no, anyway, basically, yeah. So I was pulling out there for a while, and then when I came here, I started pulling with Berwick Fat Apples. So Nicole Miles and John Wagner and Sean Weaver, all those
Perry
guys.
Broom, everybody
Perry
down the
Broom,
valley, yeah.
Exactly, Perry. Yeah.
So were you living down the valley then?
Yeah, so I was studying in Wolfville, getting my
You going to Acadia?
Getting my history degree.
That makes sense.
Okay.
At Acadia, at Acadia.
Yeah.
So yeah, anytime I could, I'd go to Berwick and I'd pull with those guys. They basically taught me like some of the most fundamental stuff, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
Perry, my God, Perry trained me really good. Dave, I think Dave Pothier was his name.
Dave
Yeah,
Pothier, yeah.
I know the name.
Yeah.
Dave showed me a bunch of stuff. John Wagner,
yeah.
he trained so much. Nicole, all the
Wagner's
guys.
been around for a while.
Yeah, and then just recently, now I'm in Sackville with Rick.
So where are you living now? You're in
Halifax.
You're in the Halifax area?
Yeah,
Okay.
once I finished Acadia, I settled in Halifax, and now I'm just.
Okay, so you get a history degree.
Yep.
And what do you do with that?
Hey, you knew about the prohibition? You're right about that?
No. Well, no, he teaches us.
You knew about
Yeah,
So
right.
we're going to have a.
Oh, I'm horrible for it. I'll start telling people historical facts. I'm like, oh, also, did you know? No, I'm an archaeologist right now. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I just dig holes, dig for artifacts. We do like environmental assessments.
Snapchats.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
Yeah, mostly related to like indigenous recovering of artifacts and stuff. But funny enough, just a little aside, I actually wanted to write my thesis on arm wrestling, my history thesis.
Yeah, that'd be
on arm
sweet.
wrestling.
You should.
But it was hard. It was kind of hard. Like the sources weren't great. So then I said, I'm going to do.
You
stone.
have amazing. You have Rick Pinkney
Yeah,
and the history of arm wrestling, because he didn't just start here.
yeah.
He started out west with the late great John Miastic. That you
Right.
trained. If you guys know who John Miastic is,
I've
you
heard his
heard the
name
name.
all over. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so he's basically been given credit as being the father of arm wrestling in Canada.
Okay.
He got everybody together, and almost he held the first worlds. Athletes didn't have to pay anything.
Right.
Hotel was covered, your entry fees were covered, your meals were covered.
When was that? That would have been when?
Late 70s. Yeah, late 70s.
Golden age of arm wrestling.
Well, and I've heard people say right now is the golden age.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a different age.
It's like a crossover kind of.
It is.
Well, we're in the
Much
social
more
media,
video, yeah.
social media to video era. I mean, there probably wasn't videos weren't as prominent back in the 70s. I wouldn't
In the 70s, I can't imagine
if at all, right? Like,
there's some. and
there's some,
Yeah, there's, I think Carling O'Keefe did a bunch of world championships up in Timmins, Ontario.
Okay.
The footage for that is out there.
Right.
And it was offered to me, but the guy was posting it on his own site.
Right.
So I don't see the reason why I needed to take it in
Yeah.
for myself. But it is out there with some pretty cool stuff. And now I think last week, the week before, I just Petaluma, California.
I was just gonna say, right?
I just posted one of those from 1984.
Right.
Yeah, you got a lot of old footage like that, right?
Yeah.
More than
It's
anybody
pretty-
else.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
There's
What is it? Largest arm wrestling
Library.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe
on the internet,
on the
actually.
internet, yeah.
The only person that I think may rival what I have already banked would probably be Igor Mazurenko.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got a ton
Ton of old
of
video.
video, yeah.
Right.
And he's just been shooting video the whole time he's been involved, and
Yeah.
he's probably been involved
For
at
a
least
long
as long as I have.
Yeah.
When did Gary Roberts get into it? I saw he also has a bunch of stuff.
He does, eh? Yeah.
Does that stuff he record? Sorry, I'm not.
No, it is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is, and I learned a lot from Gary.
Right.
Gary and I were friendly. Everybody wanted to pit us against one another. And it was funny. We'd go to tournaments and he'd say, like, Scott, what are you going to do, Gary? You can relax. I'm
We're
not going to get
friends.
home. No, I'm not going to get
Okay.
home for 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
So he would stay up all night. Like a tournament Saturday, he'd be up all night editing
Editing
and getting
footage,
that
yeah.
posted.
Yeah.
but it wasn't. We didn't have YouTube back then. I think Gary.
What would you have used?
I have my own website.
Oh, was it?
It's just armsportsportvideos.com.
Armsportvideos.com, yeah.
And I actually liked the setup of my website way better than YouTube.
Yeah.
Much easier to navigate. Just what year you're looking for. Click on that, and then it comes up a list with thumbnails and every tournament that I have for that year.
YouTube, you have to make special like playlists, right? Is that what you have to do? Probably.
I try and make it as user friendly as possible. If you're looking for something, if you know the year, type in the year and where the tournament was, and something should come up if I have it. But I think I'm up around 3,500 videos or something. Oh no, there's a ton.
Wow, that's a handful.
So new guys like you, I think it's important that you guys learn a bit more history of arm wrestling.
Yeah,
I'm trying. It's hard to like stay updated with what's going on because there's always new stuff happening.
Absolutely.
So it's hard to stay updated with everything that's happening currently, and then try and also learn. But I'm trying.
Yeah, well,
I'm making the effort. There's still lots that I don't know, obviously.
local histories.
Yeah, local history. And I have learned quite a bit about the local scene, and I didn't know a damn thing about it.
Well, Rick and I did 2 different shows, table talk shows on just the history of Nova Scotia arm wrestling.
That's right.
Because Rick and I first met when he moved back here from Alberta, and he started Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling. I think I was the first vice president of Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling Association. 85, 86.
Wow.
He actually asked me to come and help him, and first tournament was 1985.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I
I think
didn't
I
know
remember you
that.
telling me that actually.
Yeah, it could be.
That's pretty awesome.
And it's been an interesting ride.
Yeah.
Interesting ride.
Yeah.
But I've been fortunate enough. I've been to Europe like 10 times.
I see. That's what I'm excited for is travel. I'm not there yet. I do have. I'll touch on that a bit. I was originally supposed to be going to Texas in November for a match, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
The Texas Arm Wrestling League?
TAL's not putting it on. It's Arm Wrestling Uncensored.
No. Hey, no. I don't have any bad
No.
news.
I'll fill you in on this now.
Yep.
Bunch of goofs.
So I was going to
Who
say.
online isn't a bunch of
Well,
We're all goofs.
Arm Wrestling
right?
Uncensored. They're all weak. You're looking right now. They're all weak. Bunch of weak bums. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So I told you before we started all this evening that I'm unfortunately
You're
in
injured.
injury right now, and I can't pull. My arms are off the table for the next few months. It sucks, but I will be back. But before I decided that this injury was too far gone for me, there was a match that I was going to 100%. Not just for me. It was a big event. Arm Wrestling Uncensored 3. It's November 5th in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
David Cotlow, he's the owner of the Arm Wrestling Uncensored brand, essentially.
Do you know this guy?
I know him personally.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't met him in real life. I know him from online.
I
talk to him. We're in a group. We're in this group, the hilarious, ridiculous group chat every day.
Okay.
Between a bunch of people in the group. Anyhow, I was originally supposed to go pull. I don't know if you've heard the name William Palmer. He's like an infamous guy on
really?
in the arm wrestling community. He's only like a 20-year-old kid, and he's just all shit talk, right? And he's all show.
This is all part of the.
But he's a good kid. And anyways, I was supposed to go down and pull him.
Okay.
And of course, I had to back out, unfortunately. I was going to have a hotel room paid for me.
Oh, shit.
Not just for me, because I'm special, but like a bunch of the guys that were going to have matches.
Yeah.
David Cotlow was getting the hotel room. So all I had to do was cover my own flight. And yeah, it would have been $600, $700 flight round trip, but it was for the experience. And I was, I'd be in Houston for a couple of days, make it a trip, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of bummed that I'm not going, but I do plan in the future. There's going to be Arm Wrestling Uncensored 4. This is number 3. There's going to be 5.
Okay.
So I do plan on going in the future and pulling Palmer and having a match.
Yeah.
And actually, this event that is happening, there is some big names going now.
Cool.
Some very big names.
How big?
Drop
some
names. Alex Credetcha.
Alex Cadet's going, okay.
going to be there. Derek Smith's going to be there.
Wow.
Are they pulling each other?
No, they're doing a seminar.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to look. Geez, who else is in this?
It's okay.
It's a big card.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it would start off with these little amateur kind of character matches.
Yeah.
And then it transitioned to this is gaining momentum, and a lot of people wanted to go, and big names wanted to go, and then David has sponsors. David Cotlow.
Good for him.
He has sponsors. He has all sorts of different avenues setting things up. Robert Kelly's another guy who's putting on. I don't know if you know. He's a guy from down in the States, and he's helping organize the whole thing. Oh, sorry. I completely forgot to mention. Uncle John's going.
Okay.
Uncle John's going. Uncle John's going for not a specific match. He's going down. It's called Run a Train on Uncle John, but it basically means he's pulling. He's putting his left hand on the table, and anyone 176 pounds and under, and they have to be amateur. They have to pull him. He's going to try and pull as many as he can, and they're all going to. I think it's $20 to pull him.
Okay.
And the first person to pin him gets half the pot. He gets the other half of the pot.
Cool.
So
$20 for one pull.
yeah, I think that's, or maybe I could be wrong with the prices. Maybe it's $5 or whatever. But he's going to line up as many guys, big lineup, 50 guys or whatever. And John's left arm is pretty seasoned. Especially he can't make it too unfair for him. He can't make a bunch of heavyweight pros pull him. Otherwise, it wouldn't work.
His left arm's pretty seasoned.
Anyway, so yeah, anyone 176 and below, an amateur is going to go line up and pull Uncle John. So that'll be at the Arm Wrestling Uncensored event as well. So it's going to be a pretty cool event.
That is kind of cool.
It's something you should keep your eyes on. You'll see clips. It's November 5th. You'll see a whole bunch of stuff about it, I'm sure.
That's
it's more of a Facebook thing. That's where they're big. So I know you're not big on Facebook, but there will be YouTube videos and everything else.
Of course there will. And it's not that, and I just don't post a lot of personal stuff on Facebook.
You're saying,
That's all. Every day I'm on there posting whatever clips I'm putting out.
Yeah.
But that sounds, you guys know who Gary Goodrich is?
Yeah.
So he went to Japan and pulled. I don't. The number, I could be wrong. I don't know if I got enough zeros. It's either 100 guys in an hour, one after another, boom, 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 or 1,000 guys.
Yeah, it's it's
It was a stupid. Oh no, but it was a stupid amount of people.
It's king of the table essentially is what it is, right? Like that's what it's called. Isn't that when one guy just kind of holds one side of the table and just keeps 10 guys over and over? So it's same.
And whoever would beat him would be the king.
But no one's beaten him.
Yeah,
nobody
touched him. I mean, Gary, back in the day, Gary was untouchable for a few years.
Yeah.
He was the man.
He was.
Once he beat Joan Brzenk, and then he got wins on Cleve Dean.
Oh yeah, right.
Was Gary Goodrich? He was a heavyweight.
Gary? Oh
yeah.
Yeah,
he was a fighter, MMA.
Yeah.
Or was it MMA or Muay Thai?
UFC.
Yeah, UFC.
Yeah. UFC. I have it upstairs in my office, so I have UFC 1 to UFC 200.
Oh really?
Yeah. But UFC 3 or 4, I think, where he made his debut.
Yeah.
But he had pretty well conquered the arm wrestling world, and then they're offering money. I don't blame them.
Like I'd move on to the next sport. Right?
Absolutely. Well, especially since they're paying some money.
Yeah, they're paying more than arm wrestling.
So that's the thing with arm wrestling. Yeah. It's like if you're getting into arm wrestling for money, you're doing the wrong thing, in my opinion. And that's one thing I was never.
This has
never been a thing for money for me. And if you are, then you're probably in it for the wrong reasons.
Well, yeah,
there's not a lot of money in the sport.
Unless you're at that
very
upper
even
echelon.
But comparing that to like other sports, it's still not even comparable.
Yeah,
it's not even on the same scale.
Nobody's signing $5 million deals for that.
Not even marginally close to that, right? Like,
no,
it's just not the way the sport is, unfortunately. And I shouldn't say unfortunately, it kind of keeps it more humble in some sense, right? Anyways.
I don't know. Some of these upper echelon guys are not very humble.
No, but I mean the reasons that they arm wrestle is for more so pride and they want to be the best.
In the beginning,
right? Yeah. More so they're not. A lot of them are not looking for the next paycheck, but money always. Money talks. We all know that.
I talked to Devin before the YouTube explosion and everything, and he said I've started to get tired of forking out my money to go to these events, time away from my family.
That's true.
And he goes, for what? $5 medallion or something,
right.
And I get it.
Yeah. If you're at that level and you've been doing it for so long, like it's expensive to travel, and especially when you're doing it on your own. Obviously, you do it on your own dime. Yeah, you win a match, but you don't win any money. Like you have to literally pay to win. If you want to travel, and you got to pay, and then you're not really seeing any return on your investment. I can understand.
Well, yeah, and now I did read on Facebook about somebody was holding an event. And just for example, Craig Toulier and his wife bought plane tickets, and the event got canceled.
Where do they have to about the tickets?
Yeah, like a week before it was supposed to happen, I believe. Like somebody canceled.
Was it like COVID reason or was that?
No, COVID. No, this just happened
recently.
Like just in the past few weeks.
Yeah, that would suck.
And yeah, well, Craig is not too happy.
I mean, flights aren't cheap.
No,
I think it was $700. Like, luckily, I didn't book my flight for Texas. I waited, and I decided I can't go anymore because of my injury. But it was $700 round trip.
Flying out of Halifax is not cheap.
Never cheap. Never. Out of Canada in general, Halifax especially. But
Halifax is brutally bad. So friends in Ontario, they drive over to Buffalo, Detroit, and then they can get the cheap flights. But you can't get them coming out of Canada.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like in the States, some of those flights are dirt cheap. They can fly. I think someone said that someone was flying from California to Texas, and it was like $60.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
I took one of
Like,
those $50 flights.
you know what I mean?
from
Like,
Maryland
like-
from Florida.
like
Really?
it'd be nice if we had that in Canada, but we don't have that.
Yeah.
No.
Canada's just not like that.
No, and if you get a half decent price, you have to worry about is the flight actually going to go, or are they going to cancel it and
Yeah.
reroute you? And
Exactly. Yeah.
like when I went out to the Canadian Nationals this year, and Rick and I ended up being on the same flight, but he booked with that Swoop Airlines,
So the discount airline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is owned by WestJet.
It is, yeah.
Well, I was
Yeah.
flying on WestJet, so I had a direct flight from Halifax to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And I got a great deal on the ticket, but Rick had in the last minute had to buy.
I
a
think
plane
Rick
ticket.
told me at practice there it was a while ago, a month or two ago. He told me, he said, I'll never fly Swoop again. I think he said it was a horrible experience.
By what?
Swoop,
He
yeah.
will never go there, like never again. That was like,
We ended up
fuck
on
that.
the WestJet flight with me,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
direct flight.
Because I forget what did they cancel the flight on that?
Ultimately, they ended up
Yeah,
canceling. They kept
essentially,
rescheduling them, and
Yeah.
then they could finally fly him out. Okay, we guarantee you we can fly you out on Monday. Well, the tournament's Saturday and Sunday.
That's not going to do me any good.
Yeah.
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 So I don't know if he got his money back. I think that's what he was going
Still.
after, was a refund,
Airlines are not good for that. They're so stingy.
especially in Canada.
It's in Canada.
Canada is brutally bad.
I used to fly for work when I worked out in Alberta for 6-7 years, back and forth, like fly in, fly out rotation. Like I lived here, worked in Alberta, and I know all the horrors of flying. I had 3 flights there, 3 flights back every month, right?
Mm.
And
Damn.
yeah,
I suppose though.
I know all the horrors of
Halifax
flying.
to Toronto, Toronto to Edmonton.
Toronto to Edmonton, and then Edmonton to Grand Prairie, or
Wherever
one of
you're
those.
going,
Sometimes it would be Halifax to Ottawa or Halifax to Montreal, but it was either those two or Toronto, and then Edmonton or Calgary, and then Calgary, Grand Prairie.
I worked at the airport for a season and a half, and I flew out to Fort Mac to close a base.
Oh yeah,
And seeing all the rotational people coming
Yeah.
through, like, no thanks.
yeah. It's
I do not envy you people at all.
trust me, I don't miss it.
The money was
I miss
good,
the money,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I did my time, and I don't miss it. No. I'd rather be here in arm wrestling.
That's fair. Yeah.
But now you're here and you don't know.
Now
us.
here, I don't arm wrestle. I know. I'll be back.
Cover, yeah. Just
I'll
rest
be
up.
back, man. I'll be back.
Rest up.
I'm gonna start training my right arm finally too.
That's good.
We should be training it.
Oh, I do.
Anyway.
But I'm gonna focus on it more.
Okay.
But I showed you this before.
Yeah.
So it's still something that's gonna hold me back a little bit, but no excuse. I'm gonna try. So
I've watched people come back from broken arms.
yeah.
Yeah, which is remarkable. Right? When you
It's
think about it.
amazing.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
amazing.
Broken arms sometimes they come back strong.
One of Joyce King, so she broke her arm wrestling. They put a plate in, but they didn't realize she wasn't finished arm wrestling, so they didn't put the heavy duty screws in the
Oh,
plate,
I need the big one.
right? And then
Yeah.
she's practicing with her
Let
daughter.
that go, like the screws like that. Oof.
Rebroke. Oh,
In the same spot.
I believe so. Don't quote me on that,
Yeah.
folks, because I could be wrong, but I know that she had to go through it a second time.
Arm breaks, man. It's part of the sport. It's unfortunate.
I would think they'd give you the heavy duty screws anyways, but I guess not. You got to tell them beef it up because I'm going to be
Yeah,
doing
listen,
this
I'm an
again,
arm
right?
wrestler. I need this thing
I'm
strong.
not done.
Well, I know
Strong
somebody
bones,
yeah.
fairly close here that didn't have surgery at all.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Miss Producer
Yeah.
over there, she broke her arm
Oh,
wrestling
really?
before we were married.
Oh, really? Really? Wow.
Yeah, and they just lined everything back up, gave her a soft wrap.
Mhm. I did see my first arm break there recently.
Oh, at Battle
Yeah.
Zone, yeah.
First one in person. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I hope she's okay.
Fun,
Hope
yeah.
she's recovering well, but man,
She's had surgery,
she had surgery.
Yeah.
Okay.
so
There's
I
like plates she got as well. I
Yeah.
think. Yep.
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
screws or something.
Definitely.
yeah. So that happened on a Saturday. I believe they had her in the hospital back in Moncton
Yeah.
on Sunday, and she had her surgery Monday morning.
Okay, good.
So there wasn't a whole lot of.
That's good. Well, I'm glad. So she's recovering, and she'll be back. I'm sure. That's
No, you know what? I can't imagine that she will be back.
no.
No, Sabrina.
No, I'm talking like a year from now.
No, I can't. Sabrina would come out and pull, and she would have fun.
Yeah, but she wasn't taking it that seriously.
Yeah, that's what
No.
it seemed like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't imagine that she will try again.
See, I plan.
And I get it. I understand.
Yeah, everyone depends on where you're at with the sport, right?
Yeah.
If I
If I broke my arm
arm,
tomorrow, I'm coming back next year. Like as soon as I'm better,
I was gonna say I don't know if I broke my arm. I know I'd be definitely like broken, like
yeah, it would suck just
mentally.
not being able to train, but
I want to say I'd come back, and I probably would, but I mean, it would shake me. Man.
Oh,
I would be
definitely.
so broken.
a lot of
just
those, a lot
mentally,
of people
probably.
have, right? A lot of guys have broken their arms over the years and
And
come back
a lot of them come back with a different arm.
different arms. Oh, and,
Yeah.
and sometimes in a better way.
Yeah.
Sometimes not. I can't speak for everyone. I know there's a guy in the Iron Wrestling Uncensored group, in the group chat. He's
Yeah.
a younger kid. His name's Hunter. He's only 20 years old. He broke his arm there last year. Took it like a champ. There's a video of it. probably don't want to watch it. But it was at a tournament. It was his right arm. He's right hand dominant, and he's back like almost, not I wouldn't say fully healed, but almost fully healed now. He's almost cleared to start pulling. Like he's been pulling with it again. It shows pictures of like how much atrophy there is to your muscle. Like with the
right.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Anyhow, there's a picture of like after his cast was off, he had no muscle left in his arm, and he's back and he's looking strong. So, and he's only 20-year-old kid, so maybe he's a little more resilient. But it just goes to show you can break your arm and come back and be good.
The human body's something else. I'll tell you. It always surprises me, right?
Yeah, it surprises me because I can't seem to heal myself. My damn fucking arms.
Yeah, well, we had that one. No, we're good. We had that one with Sabrina breaking her arm. I was the first one out of the building.
Yeah, it makes you queasy. Eh?
Well, I've seen.
Rick said he's seen. What did he say? He gave me an outrageous number of the amount he's seen over the years.
Because Rick has been traveled even way more than I have.
Yeah, and he's reffing so many of the matches, so he sees it firsthand.
We went to the WAL in Vegas, and in the first 2 hours, we saw 5.
Oh my god!
But this is when the WAL was still doing tournament pulling.
That sounds like a nightmare. 5 in 2 hours.
But you know what though? The WAL when they were first beginning, amateurs were pulling against pros.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Sometimes, as always, referee shortages.
Yeah, I was gonna say referees.
So they're not stopping matches when they should have. Yeah.
Well, the thing is squaring people up too. Because I remember I've been to places where the ref.
I have the footage.
Like,
speaking of international,
I'm not gonna name names.
No.
Like a ref, like where a ref, like you can tell, like nobody's squared up.
Yeah.
We're all starting like
speaking
right on top of each other.
You were in the States for that. It was just this past year, at the beginning of the year. So it was like this past winter, I think, because you sent me footage. He placed second, which is pretty good.
That was fun. That was a great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Where was that at?
Virginia, Earltown.
Yeah. Okay. So you got second right hand, and I remember the power to you because the refs never squared you up. But you started.
Yeah.
And it's not like, listen, you're like, if the refs aren't going to fix it, try and take advantage of it. So you did nothing wrong, but I remember you started. Yeah. You were not square at all, and you went right in for that press. Smart. We're smart
for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, like you were saying, like when the shortages like that, I don't really blame too much either because like I should have asked, but I'm like, did you get paid, man? I didn't even ask him. Yeah. I was like, he drove like 2 hours.
This is what I mean, right?
From another state just to show up and to help out and to ref, But like it's important, right? Because like if you don't have proper refing, then you're gonna get arm breaks.
Yeah,
you're gonna get.
I feel like we're lucky, actually.
We're lucky,
and unlucky. We have some of the best refs in the world.
We have the best.
We might have the best. So like
Rick and Rob, I ranked them so high.
Rob's a great ref too. Yeah.
But when you guys leave here, you're not always getting that same caliber. Now, luckily, you go up to Ontario, and there's a bunch of master referees that are really good up there.
Alberta, not so much.
Alberta has a couple, but Alberta has it seems to me, from the outside looking in, they have
some questionable refing.
Well, and they have a lot of political headbanging going on right now against individuals, and I'm not prepared to tackle any of that stuff. No, because I'm not there. I don't know what's going on.
Can't be a part of it. Yeah.
No. So, and I've been out to Alberta and filmed for them out there, and I don't think there's a province I haven't filmed in Newfoundland. And I've been invited a couple times. Perry asked me a couple times to go to Newfoundland.
That's a good point.
There is a few.
Not as good as here.
No, they're not. They don't have anybody to actually coach them.
That's the same. Like I said, we're lucky. Like to have Rick right at our own club is man. We are blessed. And people like even like Uncle John, I call him Uncle John Thompson. Yeah. He hasn't been to practice lately, but
and apparently he hasn't either.
He hasn't either. But before when he was going to have him, Chris Scott. I can name a whole bunch of
some people with knowledge.
But like people that have been around the sport for a long time and know the sport and just show up as new guys and show them the ropes.
Absolutely.
It's really,
and that's
pretty beneficial.
The bad thing about it, because I agree with you, road trips are what makes the sport for the individual.
Yeah.
Right. That's when you make the friendships and you have experiences together that.
Like me going to Texas, like
that would have been huge.
And I still plan to, just not this time.
That'd be
that'll happen eventually.
So, like, even just going, like, you guys are both planning to go to the Canadian Nationals next year.
I'll be
around. Yeah,
I'll be there. Whether I pull in it or not, let's see where I'm at. But I'll be going. It's only 3 hours from home. 3 hours in the arm wrestling world is right next door.
Yeah, you make Sydney in 3 hours?
Well, I guess it's 4.
So you drive way faster.
I'm thinking of Cape Breton. But So we'll say 4 hours. Like again, 4 hours in the arm wrestling in the grand scheme of things, that's right next door.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like it's close.
No,
especially for a national championship.
Close. It's close. And you need to experience Canadian Nationals is very unique U.S. Nationals is not the same.
Yeah.
It is not the same because
Those
I've been to
nationals
both.
were recently, were they not? They were the same around the same time. Anyway,
Or no, U.S. Nationals. I think they have at least two different U.S.
Two different
Nationals. There used to be
organizations.
three. Well, there used to be three. There used to be actually four. The USAF does the Nationals. USAA did the Nationals. The AAA did the Nationals, and then there was, I think it was PAF, and I think I think he's stopped operating now, but he was doing Anthony Loterio, I believe, out of Florida. He was holding a tournament that he called his Nationals as well.
Yeah, you can call anything Nationals if you want.
Well, I remember a guy like Michael Todd would go to all the Nationals and he'd come up with like 20 national titles in one year.
How's that work? But they just the name of the tournament, the organization that puts it on. Same with IFA Worlds, that's a world championship. It's one of the organizations that puts on a Worlds, but that's not the only one.
No, and
there's
the only
more
other,
than just IFA Worlds.
well, there is, and the other recognized Worlds is the WAF, which will be a considerably larger tournament than the IFA.
I think it's a more competitive tournament. I would think, right?
Politically, I don't know what's going on right now with Russia invading Ukraine and everything. I don't think the Russians can go and pull. But you got the Russians, the Ukrainians, the Georgians. Although the Georgians did send a team to the IFA.
Did they?
Yeah.
I can only imagine how well they did.
I think they won the team championship.
Probably
No, it was actually Poland. I stand to be corrected.
Okay. Man, those European countries, man.
Those Eastern
They are
Blocs
something
are beasts. They really
I would say
are.
the best best arm wrestling nations in the world. I could name them: Georgia and Kazakhstan. Those two. Kazakhstan is unreal, man.
I've been trying.
Angarbayev is probably my favorite Polish man.
Oh, yeah.
I love watching that guy.
Who?
Angarbayev.
Okay, yeah.
I forget how to pronounce his first name.
Kidrigali.
Kidrigali, yeah. What a weapon he is. He's just fascinating to watch.
So the Kazakhs are amazing.
My favorite
They're
style.
truly
Morzov,
amazing.
he kind of came out of, he's only young, 24 years old. He's in the top 10 of the world.
Yeah.
Morzov. And
I sent my brother a video of me arm wrestling, and he only responded with, "You pull like a Kazakhstan," which is a huge compliment. Right? Jumping in for that bone lock, that they do. I love it. I love Kazakhstan.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Cool.
Love watching.
So good, man. And I think that's where I saw the picture where they have at school the kids training.
Yeah.
They have like 20 8-year-olds pronating kettlebells,
right?
As a school.
That's the thing, right? We don't have that here.
I'm like, that's why they have so many good players.
We actually, as far as I know, unless something has recently changed, Rick has tried to get into schools and cannot.
It's tough, probably.
Yeah.
We live in such a part of the world that's, I don't know what the word I'm going to use.
Ultra conservative.
The opposite of that. Well, no, okay, conservative in this, not
in the political sense,
but in the sense that it's like
we don't like to try new things.
We like to shelter our kids. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
I'm not speaking for myself.
No, our children are bubble wrap.
Yeah, exactly.
They really
so
are.
you try and introduce arm wrestling. Schools look at you like, are you kidding me? Absolutely not.
Well, they look at that one injury.
Yeah.
Okay, but you'll let your kid play hockey or football.
They'll say it's combative and it's violent. And,
I'd break my arm, then get a knockout concussion almost every day. Concussion.
It's like playing any sport, man. Like you can get injured no matter what.
Yeah, that is terrible.
Playing hockey or
Well, that's what too. When people who aren't arm wrestlers are part of the whole community and know about it, you're like, oh, you want to arm wrestle? I don't want to break my arm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break my arm. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of my buddies want nothing to do. Want nothing to do with it.
Pardon?
Captain Phil has a question.
Okay, yes, Phil.
He
Phil
wants
Carter.
to know if you two are going to the Battle of the Atlantic.
That's a good question.
When is that?
That is
October 22nd. And the answer to Andrew is he'll be there, but he's not pulling.
Can't pull him injured.
Andreas,
If I'm
are
around, I'll be there, and I'll be pulling. Yeah. And
I love
for you, Captain Cardi.
you?
Not that I.
They're gonna have to put him up a weight
I'm
class
2 or
again.
3 years behind, but I'm coming.
He's too good for 198.
Yeah.
He was crushing all the heavyweights.
No, Captain Cardi, he's
incredible.
He's huge.
No, but he's not that heavy. Is what I mean.
Well, no, but I mean, in the 198.
No, he's
top
the
class.
He's too good. I'm saying he's too good
The
for
guy I
198.
gotta beat. I guess that's gonna take me some.
They're gonna have to
years.
force him to go up a weight class. He's just too good.
I don't know how the Battle Atlantic works.
I don't either.
I really am not familiar enough. I just think it goes by weight class, doesn't it?
No.
Is it
Well, from what I
It's
saw,
not the pro elites.
no,
that
it
work.
is.
It is.
So
the elites?
there's amateur classes.
Yeah.
Which they follow the typical different weight classes left and right. That's how they always do it. And then there's elite 3, 2, and 1 as far as I know.
No, I actually I don't believe so because these are you're challenging for championship belts.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
But I thought there was
Yeah.
there was Battle of the Atlantic specific matches. Maybe I have
there's
to
battle.
look.
There's championship matches.
Like super matches or
Yes,
super
super matches. But then I thought for sure, but I don't. Usually I don't pay attention to weight classes because it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
Right? It just doesn't.
Right.
I film whatever it is. I just
Yeah,
listen.
it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
I could look it up right now if you want.
Well,
You can talk, but I'm
no,
pretty
I just
sure-
remember I made the poster and I don't remember
Yeah.
being elite.
Yeah, for a second I almost thought Superman, but that's a whole nother
That's
one. That's one
Superman's-
where everybody
that's
goes.
totally different.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
totally
no, Battle of
different,
the Atlantic is, yeah.
Superman is going to be in November.
Yeah,
The month
right, right, and that's when they had like everybody like
I'm sure
after. One
like,
weight class and you
Yeah.
go, but I think Rick's gonna just to speed it up a bit because it's quintuple elimination. You have to lose
Yeah.
5 times.
Yeah, that's a lot of pulling.
So he's going to do.
Holy smokes.
It's going to be the same thing. There's no actual weight classes, but
Yeah.
if you're in the range from 250 to 200, you're in that bracket,
Okay,
type of
right,
thing.
right.
right? So you'll be always be pulling somebody in that bracket until there's nobody left in that
And then you
bracket.
just go against his left, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's going to be certain brackets down.
Poster
I didn't put-
that you made. I think it just says men's left and right hand classes, ladies right.
Yeah, I think if you go to NovaScotiaArmwrestling.com,
Yeah,
Hmm.
maybe I'll do
I
that.
think the Battle Atlantic classes are listed there. I thought.
We'll find it.
But so when did your family move from the U.S. to back to Canada?
They're still there now, actually.
Oh, there's there.
Yeah, my little brother's still there.
Oh, okay.
They're all still there.
So you just
but
came up to go to school.
I just came to go to school, yeah. But I think, honestly, like they might be there 2 more years and then move back.
Okay.
My dad's now retiring. My little brother's, I think he's flying the nest pretty soon. So, yeah, they're probably not gonna be there longer. But I just came by myself. And the whole arm wrestling, like finding out arm wrestling in Nova Scotia was just on my own. It was so much fun. Yeah, it was awesome.
Did you find anything?
No, nothing.
No.
No, I could have.
Phil says.
Yeah.
Men's right 165, 200, and 200 plus.
Okay.
Okay.
So I wonder if that's the same for left too. Then.
I'd imagine.
Well, no, because a lot of the time it's different.
I'm going to say, they never match up,
Never
do they?
match up,
But
no.
Oh,
it's always
yeah.
I find
Same
every
with the left, he said.
same for the left. Thanks,
So
Phil.
165 to 200, 200 plus. There's really only 2 classes, 2 weight classes. So
No,
165,
yeah,
165.
200s,
and then
200
over.
plus.
Okay, sorry, 3. Yeah,
So 3 classes.
3
Okay.
classes.
That's good.
And I'm assuming because the pullers voted in, everything's going to be at least in the tournament. Everything's triple elimination.
I would think.
I would
don't
assume.
think it's double. I think anything that's not amateur is usually triple that.
Yeah, Rick doesn't put on any double.
Unless it's amateur.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, right.
I don't think so. And now it seems, and I can remember going to the nationals, and the pullers all voted in. They wanted triple elimination.
Yeah.
I personally hate it and only for a logistic reason. It just takes
You don't like the triple.
well, it's just way
Takes
too
way
long
longer.
to edit. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me
definitely.
editing, and it's not as easy to follow along.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we are
Right.
when I'm editing it, but whatever. I'm get over yourself. The world doesn't revolve around me, so right.
Yeah, no,
It's so I assumed that you guys got involved because of YouTube, but
Big part of it.
funny enough.
Part of it
yeah.
for me, yeah.
For him, yeah, because I remember
Yeah.
meeting him too when he was just starting, and I'd already had a few months under my belt.
I remember the first
Okay.
time I ever gripped him. He test crashed me.
Crushed you?
I had no idea what I was doing.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah.
I thought I did, but I didn't, right? And I just realized how bad I think I told you earlier how bad I was. I remember gripping that, and I was like, man, I'm so bad at this. I've gotten better. I've gotten better.
Yeah.
But
you've gotten a lot better
yeah, I've gotten better.
from a rank novice
Yeah.
who didn't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I watched you actually set up at a table. It was just at a practice, and
Yeah.
I'm going, oh man.
Well, now you're beating me on the left, strapped up, and on the right, you give me one hell of a fight. So
Yeah, I'll like I said, unfortunately, taking a little dip.
Well, no, your progression was really, really good.
Yeah, and now
Injuries suck.
Injuries suck.
Yeah, they
I
just
didn't perform very well in my last tournament there, and then I realized I was in so much pain after. And
that was at the battle zone. Is that no? Did you
no,
pull in the
Battle
Windsor?
Zone, and I pulled in Windsor as
Windsor,
well.
okay.
And Windsor, I shouldn't have. I was already in a lot of pain before then. And
Was
I
it
made, it was Windsor was after the Battle Zone.
Yeah.
This was a couple weeks ago, and I made the decision to still go. And I shouldn't have. It was a huge mistake. I was in so much pain. And it wasn't like the normal arm wrestling pain. It was injury pain. And not to give a sob story.
No,
it's boring, right? But
It was interesting. I got a note after the tournament was all over from Logan Fraser,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was funny. And I laughed. He goes like, "Gee, Scott, we missed you there today." And I'm laughing and going, "You don't care if I'm there, buddy." And I'm Logan. I'm just teasing. There's no video. You got no video, right? That's all.
Yeah. We just want to be there, Scott. Never mind the video.
Yeah, right.
We miss you, man. You're always such a nice person.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it was.
You have another question?
Captain Phil has another comment.
Yeah.
Both Andreas and Andrew are making incredible gains. It takes time. Glad to see them sticking with it.
Nice. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Well, and
Coming from Phil,
I was
that's
gonna say, coming from you, Phil, that's
the
huge.
problem. I mean,
Yeah.
he's incredible. Honestly.
And
I
I appreciate that Phil lets me move around a bit when I'm pulling him.
Yeah.
Like you wait a bit, which
Gives you a little bit.
And not just go smash, right?
Okay, all right. Now I definitely know I can't win. I hate when people just like, it's flash.
But I made the comment to you earlier. So before I actually met you,
Yeah.
I kept reading your name over and
Yeah.
over and over in all these comments,
Yeah.
and I'm going, no, and it was literally, who in the hell is this guy? And does he actually know anything about arm wrestling? And then as I find out, no. The answer was no. You didn't know very much about arm. However, it's social media. Everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Some people's opinions we pay attention to more than others.
Yeah.
But you were always so constant. You were always making comments about.
Well, that was when I was very, like I still am, but I was very, like I said, I stepped away from competing.
Yeah.
Like I did those 3 practices. I said, now, too much, too painful, but I was still very much
Just on YouTube.
I was still really into the sport. And I've been watching the sport for a lot longer than I've been pulling.
Okay.
Which is weird. A lot of people probably don't say that, but I've been watching the sport since, I will say 5 years. So nothing crazy,
No,
but a lot
still.
longer than I've been pulling. And so I tried to, I'm not saying I'm an expert by any sense, but I followed the sport pretty closely.
Yeah.
And I, for whatever reason, got really involved with the Facebook thing. Just being, just being a dick.
I remember when you first told me that too, because he was like, I like watch YouTube videos, like you can tell me all the matches.
Yeah.
And I was like,
But I don't pull.
I was like, that's kind of weird. Like somebody who like doesn't pull but watches arm
Yes,
wrestling.
I felt like I was buying pay-per-views, but not, I didn't even compete. I really like the sport.
I'm sure there's a lot more like you too.
I think there's a ton.
There probably is.
Look at how many followers that Devin has.
Yeah.
And I'm
They
like,
can't all be armors.
No.
Right?
they can't not to have those kind of numbers.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
But no, I'm glad I'm in the sport now, at least.
We're happy to have you. That's for sure.
we're happy to have all the new blood come in, and it's too bad that you guys came along under COVID.
Yeah.
That's just luck of the draw, but
Yeah,
it's been better this past.
Well, I was going to say
Past
almost
year,
the
right?
past year, right?
It's been good, so busy.
Yeah. So-
Busier at least. So
Well, I mean, arm wrestling has to be the most COVID unfriendly sport, right?
You're
Basically spitting in
literally-
the guy's face, right?
yeah.
The second COVID happened, I was like, man, we're not gonna arm wrestle. Not in this league.
No.
Not the way they're making it seem.
How did we do
I don't know.
that?
I think I'm slowly
I don't know.
working my way down.
Or all 3 of us are. Oh, producer.
Captain Phil would like to know, would the guys consider traveling to Digby some
Yeah.
weekend for practice?
I'd love to when I'm healed up. Probably in the new year, but I'd love to. Yeah.
We could arrange the local clubs to attend and have a great afternoon.
Yeah.
That'd
There
be
you
fun.
go.
Sweet. Yeah. I'd be
It's
totally
a
down.
long ways to Digby,
I'd
but I'd be willing to make
I'd love to, like I said, I'd love to travel even just within the province to different clubs. Like we have SAC, which is nice, but just to get grip up with different people, get different experience would be good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
carpool.
Yeah, well, and Phil, to address you specifically, my producer and I have talked about going down to your place to have you do a live show from Digby as well. So,
Yeah, you got to get Phil on here for sure. Yeah.
well, I did a, for lack of a better word, a small little documentary on Phil.
I
The Loaded Gun.
I watched it.
You
Oh,
saw that?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I did see that.
I went over to PEI and shot one for Charlie McGagan too.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever going to see it because even I can't look at it.
No.
I can't look at the footage. I've got the footage from the tournament,
Oh, it's like,
But it
but
was.
it's all corrupted. The file was all corrupted and wouldn't play. And so, Phil, after I get back from New England, or I'll get in contact with you, or I'll probably see you at the Battle of Atlantic, and we can have a chat then and there. But I'm a big Phil Cardy fan. as
It's
well.
hard not to. Man.
So,
Seeing that guy just crush like heavyweights, and it's impressive. That's all I can say.
and just watching
Nothing
him at
short
the
of
Battle of the
impressive.
Atlantic
Yeah.
it was fun. It was fun to
Yeah,
watch.
it's entertaining matches for sure. I remember last year too at provincial. Speaking of Phil Cardy and speaking of John Terrian that we were talking about earlier, they had like that goes to show the level of where they're both at because Phil was. I mean, they were both beating each other.
Yeah.
And John
And Phil's,
Terry,
and Phil's
John
bigger
Terry,
weight-wise than John is.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. But John's actually a little heavier now. He's like a 190.
Yeah, but at the time
he was a 176.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, John is a national champion, as Phil, I believe, has been in the past. And John's, like as we were talking about his caliber earlier, how good he is. For Phil to hang there with him, pretty impressive.
if I'm not mistaken, Phil, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Phil's ever attended nationals and not won.
There you go. I totally.
I don't think. I think that's what he told me.
There's
But
not many 198s that I can imagine that would be anywhere close to him.
I mean, yeah.
Other than like John Thompson, and that depends on the arm that they're pulling on, I think.
Yeah.
But like, who else? Who else from Canada? Like, who's the top 198 Ontario 190 other than John Terry? Who's the top Alberta guy? I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure when you break it down to weight classes, we'd have
Yeah.
to look at the results.
Yeah.
But there were some pretty impressive guys from the West.
Oh, there is. I don't.
Because and John Terrian, you may be in the same boat as a guy like Troy Eaton. Do you guys know Troy Eaton? Well, Troy Eaton used to be in the same weight class as Crazy George Zakowicz for years and years.
Yeah,
and
Crazy
years.
George is a whole other.
Well, Troy moved up in weight class.
Yeah.
Oh, he got tired of finishing second all the time.
Yeah, you can't beat George. Can't beat the guy.
Even the big guys can't be
Oh,
George.
it's crazy.
Now, in all fairness, George, I'm an old man. George is considerably older than I am.
He's in the 70s, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
It's 70, 71 now, something like that. Yeah. So, and he's still giving guys
Oh, it's
fits.
crazy. He was at Nationals this past year.
Yeah.
Back in July. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he won his class.
Yeah.
You know that the killer of a match I saw against Pork Chop. I forget that's his nickname.
Oh yeah, that was like
Curtis Cameron.
Curtis
is his
Cameron,
name.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Was that an after
Yeah.
goal?
No man, I think that was one of
Was it an overalls or
competition,
something?
wasn't it? Crazy George versus Curtis Cameron.
Yeah, not at nationals.
No, that
They-
was nationals. That was sometime else. Eh?
yeah, that was somewhere in Ontario, I think.
Yeah.
That they had a match.
No, but that was awesome.
Crazy.
Man. It
Because
was
Curtis
awesome.
Cameron's 250 pounds and extremely strong.
Yeah,
And,
he just didn't know what to do. The classic thing where George is there and you're like,
what do you do?
but you can't do it.
But like Curtis, I follow him a little bit on social media, and he's training constantly. Like,
Yeah.
he's a hard worker, and he's super strong. And
Super strong.
ridiculously strong.
Did you watch the match between him and Espy?
I was just going to say in my opinion, he did beat SB left-handed once, did he not?
Well, yeah, Ryan fouled out.
He fouled out, but I think
But-
it was a fair. I think
No, I think
Ryan got the better.
I think admittedly, Ryan knew he was going to get pinned.
Yeah.
And he was trying whatever he could.
Oh yeah, I remember he did that weird.
And he was doing this
He did this.
and
He
back.
did this. He was going like
Yeah.
that. I almost
Desperation.
Yeah, because he couldn't get away from him.
almost looked a little bit like little unsportsmanlike, but in a sense.
And if I remember correctly, and I'm a huge I'm a Curtis Cameron fan. I'm a huge Ryan Espy fan.
Yeah.
Mine's awesome.
He really is. And I think somebody went home that day, and the way they cut the video of Curtis and Ryan, didn't make Ryan look very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Ryan said, but I talked to you, and then you post a match like this,
Yeah,
and you look
probably
like an
posted it in
absolute ass.
context. Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah, people do that, unfortunately.
well, they do. One of the best things that I ever saw. So I'm in Italy filming the World Championships. Gary Roberts is there too. Timmy Bresnan gets into this big hassle match beef with Georgi Zaz from Hungary, and
Who was it? From-
Georgi Zaz.
and the other
Tim
guy?
Bresnan.
And
Oh,
Tim
Bresnan,
Bresnan
Bresnan,
from
okay.
the U.S.
Yeah.
So Gary Roberts puts up his edited version
Hmm.
that makes Tim look really bad.
Yeah.
Just just the way it was cut, and you don't see Georgie hauling on Timmy's arm or anything. And then mine comes out about 2 weeks later, and I hadn't seen Gary's.
Shows full context.
Oh.
Yeah, it shows
The proper
everything from the
context.
time they started beefing. So
Yeah.
I just didn't cut. I just let it go, let it go. Yeah, to see what happens, and that caused, because I think people thought I was taking sides. I never saw Gary's until after mine was
Yeah.
published.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
If you're posting a longer unedited clip, how are you taking? the
Yeah,
side?
you're just posting that they're raw footage.
Yeah, you're showing what went down. Jeez.
yeah, it was crazy. We thought there was going to be like an international incident.
Oh yeah.
I'm wrestling incident.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Someone held
guys were
hostage.
flooding the stage, and
Oh.
Timmy's still strapped to this guy. He's looking around. None of the American team came to his rescue. The first guy there was Earl Wilson. I could hear Timmy, and I'm sitting way back from the stage. Where's Earl? And then somebody pointed, he's right there, and Earl's just standing there with this smile on his face. Look, and I'm not saying that Georgie's not a bad dude or anything else. Timmy Breslin and Earl Wilson, these are not guys I want to mess with.
No,
Right.
I can
Especially
tell.
President with his
Yeah.
shades he's
Got
always
the
wearing and the big beard.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. He was tough.
Timmy and I became very good friends. I've had Timmy here a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were doing the UAC contest. Before you
I
guys-
remember seeing.
There's
seeing some-
footage up
feel-
there.
feel
We
like
had
I've seen
Michael
some
Todd
footage.
here. We
Yeah.
had Timmy Breslin here.
Out of curiosity, I feel like you told me who pulled Michael Todd and who pulled Ted Breslin. Who pulled them?
Michael Todd.
Do they have super matches or just like a seminar?
No, it was a super match,
Yeah.
and Mark McPhail pulled
Yeah, Mark McPhail. Yeah.
Michael Todd.
Yeah, how'd that go? I'm curious.
It was very one-sided.
Yeah, of course.
Michael.
Todd, yeah.
Yeah, it was all Michael.
How heavy was Michael at the time? Was he like a big?
No, he wasn't. No.
He was small. Like we're talking way back when. Like
Yeah, he didn't have. Well, he didn't have a beard. He had a goatee,
Yeah,
short hair.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
old then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it
it's
would have been 2000s sometime.
Oh, maybe
2005.
5, 6. No, the first big match that we did here, we had Travis and Ryan Espy here.
Yeah, that's right.
That was 05 because that's when I quit smoking. So it's a couple years after that we were doing the UAC stuff. And then after Michael, then we brought Earl. Earl pulled Sean Ross.
Oh yeah, that one. Oh, Sean Ross. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, super heavyweight. And then we brought Timmy in to pull Earl.
Right.
And
Oh yeah, that's cool.
yeah, that was. And I think we didn't know at the time too. It was either 1 or 2 fingers that Earl had broken on his hand.
What?
Never-
During the match?
Never got here.
Before it got.
Never put up like any excuses or anything. And he goes like, "There's nothing I can do with this guy."
Yeah.
And Timmy owned that.
Yeah.
And then we brought Timmy back, and he defended against Ryan Espy.
How'd that go?
That was Timmy.
I feel like Timmy would have had that.
Oh, it's-
Right-handed.
In Canada, the only person that could give Timmy a match was Devin.
That was it. Yeah.
And that was, they actually pulled.
You
up in
watched.
Ontario.
Yeah.
I'm jumping forward again.
Yeah.
No, but did you watch? You probably did. Matt Mask continue there this year.
Yes.
So that was a very even match, and I feel like
Yeah.
even though the referees, you could argue the referee maybe wasn't perfect.
There's
but
something about that,
It
right?
was a little sketchy on some of the calls against Matt, but Timmy ended up getting the win. But I think Matt could beat Timmy. I firmly believe that.
I think enough time has gone by,
Yeah.
and I'm not making any excuses, and Timmy and I are friends, and I'm not going to say anything bad about him.
Yeah.
So Timmy had some serious health issues that he recovered from,
Right.
and he's,
like, right?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Lyme,
Oh yeah.
Lyme, and then palsy,
Pills.
Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy.
Yeah, I know some
on
that.
one
I used
side
to
of his
I used
face
to
was
work with-
really
I
bad.
used to work with some that had that.
Mine
Okay.
doesn't help that.
Curtis.
No, it didn't. So he was dealing with all these issues at once. Now, luckily, he's come out the other side and
Yeah.
doing really well.
People said he came back stronger. Right?
He's still a beast.
Oh
Yeah.
jeez.
Now, the only thing is, a whole bunch of people have not caught up.
Yeah. Right.
Where he was just head and shoulders above a bunch of them.
Right.
They've all seemed to
Yeah,
seem to have caught up.
the sport always progresses. And one guy's like, oh, this guy's improved so much. He's evolved. He's so much better. Well, so is everyone else. Like
So they,
he's not the only one training.
no, that's
Right?
right.
Everyone's training hard nowadays. Everyone's the sport's grown, I think. And I mean,
It
you
seems
would
to
know
me-
you would know better than I would.
No. Well, no, actually,
You can-
because
you
you
can
guys watch
compare.
more than I do.
Yeah,
You guys
it
watch
seems
more
like
than
it
I
is,
do.
but it's also maybe because I'm more in tune with it. Maybe to some people, they don't even know arm wrestling's a thing. So
They don't, but
it's like,
I think you're right, though. It has evolved so much
yeah.
that
Yeah.
some of the old school guys, like I still see Earl Wilson came out and pulled at the Nationals. He pulled in the Masters class. And then he comes to me afterwards, and when we're talking, he goes, I should have went in that other class, too.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because in the class that he entered, in his weight class, there wasn't
a lot.
anybody to pull from.
Wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
competition.
No, so he should have gone up another class.
Yeah.
But next year, you may hear it here first. So, and I know they've all talked. So in one of the Master Super Heavyweight class, SP, Mike Gould,
Ooh.
Lenny Houghton, Earl Wilson.
Yeah, that's a favorite would be, but
What do you think the favorite would be?
Ryan.
You think?
Oh yeah,
It,
Bigger name, I guess. Well,
I think.
slightly.
the biggest name is Earl, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you do research on what
Oh,
Earl's
yeah.
done at the world level, and that,
Earl, yeah, no.
Earl
that's
is
for sure.
is a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not to say that Ryan isn't, because I'm a huge Ryan
Of
Espy
course,
fan.
yeah.
Mike Gould's had a rough year.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see
I
how
saw him
his
in
next year.
Michigan State that he pulled.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't do great. I think it was still.
He lost to Pavlo.
Oh, with Pablo. Yeah.
Durbin-Nenez?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
forget how to pronounce his last name, but Pablo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he pulled
He pulled Big Jeff Dave.
Jeff. Yeah,
Oh,
I watched that as
yeah,
well. Yeah. Did he have anything for Jeff?
He beat Jeff.
He beat Jeff. Okay.
Left-handed.
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 Which is
yeah.
good. Which is.
Do you have a question over there or no? I see you looking.
Oh, well, we have an update from Phil.
Okay.
We're backtracking a little bit.
Yeah.
He says, I appreciate the praise, boys. John Terrian beat him right in the finals at provincials.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Phil took the left undefeated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it because I know he did beat
Yeah.
John one day. Yeah.
They were tough matches though.
Great matches.
They were
yeah.
sick
I remember.
matches.
I was
They really
there
were.
to watch that.
Were you there? You
I
were
was-
there
I
for
was
that?
there
Were
to
you
watch.
there for that? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
you
was
were
that mini provincials that we had.
Yeah, that's right. I was
You
just
had
there
to
to
be
watch.
vaccinated to get in the
Yeah.
building and all that.
Almost
Yeah.
nobody showed up.
It was
Yeah.
small, but
It was very fun.
I didn't compete. I just watched.
I thought the caliber of the pullers that were there was really good.
Yeah, I mean, we did have some good pullers.
Yeah.
I
People
mean,
that did come brought
Phil and Terrian. Terrian's.
That was worth the
Phil-
drive just to watch them.
Yeah, man,
That's a
was
big
awesome.
match right
Yeah,
there.
that was
And
awesome.
John's coming. He's on his way here now. I think.
He's coming back
for
for work.
a few weeks.
Yeah, he posted on Facebook the other day, and I asked him whereabouts. He said PEI,
New Brunswick,
New Brunswick,
and Northern,
and then Amherst. I think.
Amherst
So
area.
unfortunately not Halifax area, but because otherwise I'd say get him to practice. Right?
What does he do? To move
He owns a roofing company.
Yeah,
Oh.
and it does general contracting.
Yeah,
I
like
think he can
roofing-
do whatever he needs
Roofing
to.
primarily, but yeah, like renovations.
Yeah, I think.
Is that how he gets so strong?
Yeah.
Could
He-
you know what? Bang is John's a hammer.
Tony told me, like I'm sure he still trains arm wrestling, but maybe not as much as you would probably think though. He said he works like 12, 14-hour days.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's just roofing, man. He said roofing is
Right.
just like working with your hands. Just
roofers get paid by how much they put down, right? Or is it?
Well, he owns his own company. So,
Oh, okay, yeah. So, like,
But I know Evan Burgoyne
Yeah.
used to be a roofer.
Yeah.
I don't think he is now because
No.
he has back
I think
issues.
he's
And that,
on, yeah.
but I can remember watching video of him, and they used to have the lift thing where they
Yeah.
lift the bundles up. He would put, I know he put 2 bundles of shingles on his shoulder and up the ladder.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then there you go. The shingles
That's
are
what I mean, right?
Yeah,
That's what
and they- and
John said.
look
He
at-
said just roofing, man.
The shingles are heavy, man. That's
That's a bundle of shingles,
Hell yeah.
and it may be more. I don't want to over.
Have you ever done like roofing? Like I don't have this as a job, but have you ever like gone a ladder with a load of shingles? Like
Yeah.
help buddies do roofs before and stuff, right? It's
No, yeah, no. Well, and I was too. I could barely make it up the ladder. I was too damn fat.
yeah.
Right? No, dude.
Yeah.
When I had my heart attack, I was 366
Yeah.
pounds.
That's right. Yeah, you come a long way.
Yeah. 366. I was 244 when I quit smoking.
Yeah.
And by Christmas time that year, I was just a shade under 300 pounds.
So quitting smoking probably because I know
Yeah,
smoking
smoking
was
Happy
a
appetite. Yeah.
Oh, man.
appetite came back after quitting probably.
Well, I had an appetite when I was
Yeah.
smoking, but so Janice would make me lunch. So my lunch would be gone by 9 o'clock in the morning. And I would hit 1, sometimes 2 drive-throughs the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Oh no, go to McDonald's. And I loved all that fast food garbage.
I have
Every single bit
I hate
of
to
it.
admit it, but I do too, and I gotta try and cut it out too. I eat way too much fast food.
Yeah.
And right now, if you're not going to the gym and training,
Well, it's the thing. I'm trying to get back into just the rehab training.
yeah,
But yeah, that's the thing. It makes me feel like shit.
Do you when you work? Do you find you use a lot of
A little bit.
muscle?
A little bit.
Because that's what happens to me.
A little bit. Yeah, before like the day after a practice, like practices in Sackville were Tuesday evenings. Wednesday was always hell. Hell.
Yeah.
And Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday was like, oh my god.
so what do you actually do?
So I work for Halifax Water.
Yeah.
My job title is a pump station technician. So basically, wastewater pump stations. There's
Yeah.
pumps and wells, lift stations, and we service the stations.
Okay.
Pump the pumps. Yeah.
So it could be really hard one day.
It could be a lot of
really
days.
easy.
It's not hard. I mean, I work for the city. Come on.
How hard can it be?
I work
right?
I work for a unionized,
City.
unionized environment. Anyways, so no, it's not that
Yeah.
hard. I worked out west of the oil patch for years, and that was
That was
night and
hard.
day harder than
Rough
no,
Rough-
fracking,
okay.
similar
Oh.
kind of work. Fracker for years. So that was that. I built a
It's a
lot.
dirty word down here, isn't
So
it?
I built a lot of forearm strength, I think, just from that over the years. But then
Yeah.
nowadays, I would say my job's much more a lot lazier. Unfortunately, I kind of have to. I don't get like the natural strength from my job anymore.
Okay.
Like a roofer would.
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
train for it. If I can't rely on my job to be strong. You know?
Honestly, it's good to be strong in a job, but I find for longevity, like it's nice to be lazy at your job.
Oh, definitely.
Come home and
Oh.
do what you
Oh,
want.
100%. The work-life balance is way
That's
better
true.
now.
I never had
Very
that, those
much.
options.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Because
Couldn't be more right, man.
all I do is dig holes, so sometimes I come home.
Oh, that's hard work,
Man,
man.
that's job. That would
Yeah.
be something else. Everything I do
Digging
is
holes is hard work, man.
either picking or digging holes. So
Yeah. And that's hard on
I
your
never
arms
get
too,
to-
right?
Yeah, I never get a rest with my arms.
Yeah.
Some days I just gotta slow down.
So what do you do all winter when the ground's frozen?
Oh.
Really?
You're still a
I mean,
student.
I've actually never.
You're still a student.
I've never drawn it. Yeah, I've never ever touched it. But that's what everybody does.
Yeah.
It's seasonal work. I'm a seasonal worker.
Oh, so you don't actually draw
I
it,
have
though?
benefits. I
Yeah.
work hourly. If it rains, I don't have work. If I'm
That
sick, I don't
sucks.
have work.
And I suppose if you don't go to work, you don't get
I
paid.
don't go to work. I don't have
Yeah, see, I'm lucky.
paid. Yeah.
I'm blessed because my position, it's basically salary,
Yeah.
and we get we get so much vacation time, all the holidays off.
Yeah.
And like I said, we don't really work that hard.
You shouldn't be saying that on air.
Well, no,
Somebody's gonna leak this.
It's definitely not a secret. Like,
No, but I mean,
No,
you must
see-
have days where.
oh no, we do have it. Don't get me wrong. There is days.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But for the most part, just longevity. That's why a lot of guys retire there, right? Like, we have a pension and everything, so I'm only a year or two in with the company, but I plan to be there.
How old of a guy are you?
I'm 32.
Oh, jeez.
I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm old as
And how old of a guy are you?
I'm 24.
Oh, man.
I'm a little.
You guys are as old as my children.
I feel like
I'm young.
my body feels twice the age of what it currently is, but what can you do?
Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, that's not. You're actually just coming to the right time when arm wrestlers really seem to come into their own a few years prior to their 30s. But then by the time you're 30, and
It's good too. Like I wish,
look at
I
you
wish I was
coming in
24.
really young.
Well, like 20. I guess you would start when you were 21 or 20.
Yeah, it was like 20.
You're what,
I
3 years?
I think it's just now 3
3
years,
years?
I guess.
Yeah, so-
18, 20, 19.
So you're if I'd started back then, everything better.
The
Well-
beautiful thing about arm wrestling, you can start whenever.
That's
Yeah.
very
Pretty
true.
much.
You couldn't be more right, actually. That's the thing. Guys start in their 40s and still potentially become a national champion. It's possible. It's not impossible.
And you guys heard of Norm Devio?
No.
No, from New England.
Oh, yeah, the guy's like 80 now, isn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah, I've seen
Legendary
him.
Norm.
Wow, he's so fun to
Don't
watch.
know.
No,
Just
you,
a
when
really
you go
Bears,
home,
I should know.
you need to look up
Yeah.
Norm Devio. So he came here, Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling and UAC put up $1,000 in a weight class for the 154-pound class.
$1,000 like
Yeah, the
first
winner,
place winner.
winner takes $1,000. And Norm came and won it. You should look up that. I don't remember what, it's either UAC 3 or 4. I don't remember which one, but he came for that and he took the $1,000.
So he would have been still pretty old even back then. Like
He would still been a senior.
Yeah, I saw a video of him. He was like, I think, almost 80 or something.
No
and he was
way.
pulling against like
No
a guy
way.
who looks like you, right? Like
oh my
Yeah, no, he still pulls now.
30-year-old, like,
Yeah,
that's what
I'll
I mean.
probably see him next weekend.
I think he's
Crazy.
fully turned 80 like last year.
That's
Right?
Yeah,
wild.
something like that.
But I saw he was going against a guy that kind of looked like an angel, right? Like a young guy, with big arms and everything, and man, it was beautiful to watch because like it was hard for him. Like he was really, but like everybody's like, come on, and yeah, he beat him. And it's
That's one thing about arm wrestling.
title of the video, all in caps, old guy versus
Old guy.
young guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
But that's the thing. Arm wrestling is so deceiving like that, as you guys call
It really is.
Oh, yeah.
It's not one of those bodybuilders are not typically good arm wrestlers. And then you
No.
look at guys like, I'll just use this as an example of top of my head. John Wagner doesn't look like much of a threat, and he's a freak of strength, right? So
Yeah.
Wait till either one is if you're lucky enough to see John Brzezinski in person.
Oh, I would. My buddy did.
sure, I will someday, hopefully.
I
I
wish.
mind you.
But
Right.
and I'm sorry, and there's no disrespect intended here. So you see John walking down the street, you would not say there's the greatest arm wrestler the world
No.
has ever seen.
You wouldn't
You
think
would not say
No.
that.
That's
Until
what,
you-
that's
then
what I
you-
love about John too. Like when, especially when he has his glasses on, he's got like his shirt tucked in.
Just
early
looks like
videos.
a
He's
Yeah,
like
nice,
walking up
friendly
and
old
like,
man. Not old, but getting older.
Yeah.
yeah.
But then when you
He's not
see-
my age yet, so
No, yeah.
Yeah, you're still young.
No, like I saw John Brzezinski versus Micah Yellow, and like Micah Yellow, I love Micah Yellow. He's a great arm wrestler. But it's just, I just love to see that juxtaposition of John.
It's crazy. Apparently,
Michael Yellow's
John's
like-
thumb apparently is freaky big.
Yeah.
That's the rumor.
His
Well, I shouldn't say
hand-
rumor, but his hand is
his
crazy.
hand is
Just
yeah.
That's
thick.
that-
He's
that-
so thick.
Just
yeah.
thick, yeah.
So for me personally, nothing is going to. I met Cleve Dean,
Oh yeah.
and I
Hard as
sat
hands-
down and
Hand's just
interviewed him.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, so back then I think I was I was over 300 when I met him, probably 325, 330,
he
and I
made
felt
you
like
look
this
small.
little child.
He made you look small, probably.
Well, a couple of people looked at the interview and said, "Scott, you're not that small, but look at you next to Cleve Dean." I'm
Yeah.
going, "I know," but
yeah,
I shook hands with him. He was a super friendly guy, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was 12 years old.
yeah, just
Oh,
big
yeah,
humble
right.
giant he was.
Oh yeah.
That's what I heard. I mean, obviously, never got a chance to meet him.
Well, no, and unfortunately he's passed. Rest
Yeah,
in peace to
yeah,
Cleve.
yeah.
But
No, I always hear these legends. it feels like he keeps getting bigger and bigger. But from what I hear, someone's like he was 6'9" and 600 pounds.
He was
And
800
someone else
pounds.
was like he was 7'1".
Yeah.
And he could pick up his car with his left hand.
He just getting bigger and bigger.
But no, yeah, he
Okay, he wasn't 7 foot tall. I
Yeah.
can tell you that.
But he was he tall? He was.
So he's like what 6?
He was taller than me. I'm just pushing 6'2".
You're
You're
not short.
no, he's taller than me.
He wasn't like 6'9".
No, I think he was like 6'4", 6'5", maybe.
Yeah, that's what,
I think when I met him, he was down around 500.
Down around 500.
No, and that's like a over 100-pound drop
Yeah.
from him. But he had some back issues and whatever.
Yeah.
So
When you're that size, you're gonna have
He was a farmer,
body,
too, right?
I mean,
yeah, big farmer.
Big farmer, yeah.
Yeah. What a super friendly guy.
I've heard that.
And like some of these legends are just. I've been so lucky to meet some of these
Yeah, no, I'm
amazing
jealous,
people.
man. That's the thing. Over the years, I'm only fresh with the sport, but I want to meet all these, like, not Clay Dean, but I mean any of the legends. I fully plan to meet like Devin, obviously at some point, and any of the big names.
Drop through the States.
John,
Yeah.
any of the top guys, any of the Europeans. Over the years, I've planned to somehow, some way meet them all. So
I went to Wasaga Beach last year. A friend was putting on an event. There was a super match, all day super matches. And we're looking around at who shows up. And it was just Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me? And I'm just walking around with the camera saying, you people have no idea like what you're missing and who's here.
Yeah.
And everybody.
that's the thing with arm wrestling.
You
You're not an
know.
arm wrestler, you don't know.
No.
They don't.
You'll go to one of those soon though, because like the exact same thing you were saying. I went to one in Virginia,
Yeah.
and like I forgot it was being put on by Travis Beach.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, did Travis put,
Paul Italia walks
Right.
in. What a man, I love Paul Italia.
Yeah, he's
I've
great.
never met him.
He's so
He's
funny.
doing
Is he?
He's got like
doing
that.
good things for the sport.
He looks,
yeah.
I actually don't understand all the hate.
I think it's just
Is it jealousy?
I think it's just because of his
It's just
image.
the internet.
Like the guy rolls in like a stretch Humvee with a cowboy hat and like
But when
gold chains. Like
He's
he's
when
not-
Robert Drank did that, everyone thought he was a hero.
it's the
He'd
internet.
show up in his
It's the internet.
limo. I don't get
They
all the
can be
hate.
bullies. They
Yeah.
just be bullies.
Yeah,
That's just how it is.
it's based on image. I mean,
Right.
if you look at Paul Italia, you might think like, oh, look at that douchebag.
Yeah.
He's all sprayed.
But you hear
He's a
him.
good guy, he's from what I see,
He's
he's
grown
grown
the
money
sport.
into it, and he's yeah. But no, like what I was gonna say about those things, like you're gonna go to one of those too, like Lachlan Adair walks through and Todd Hutchings. Next
Yeah.
thing I know, like these two guys are walking through. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Hall of
Questions?
You have a question?
Yes. Phil would like to know, Scott, if you're going to the Ottawa Open in November.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I will be there for that. I know Uncle John Thompson is going.
Yeah.
As far as I've heard, Devin's going. John
Nice.
Milne's going.
I know a guy, Curtis Mokan. I don't know if you know him. He's
Curtis, yeah.
Curtis Mokan.
Yeah.
You know him?
Yeah.
He's going.
Yeah, Ottawa. Eh?
Yeah. I don't even know. Off the top of my head, I don't know the name of the venue or anything.
Yeah.
Eric Rosen is putting it on. It's during for us down here, it's a long weekend.
Hmm.
It's no Remembrance Day weekend, but
It is it? Yeah.
it's not a holiday up in Ontario.
You don't have Remembrance Day?
No, because I'm going to see my
Okay.
daughter after the tournament, and she said, "Well, I have to work."
They would, but I thought it would be a stat. No.
It is not.
No.
But Ontario just doesn't.
They don't recognize it as one of their provincial holidays.
It's wild,
Especially
especially Ottawa. Right?
Silence and everything. The at 11.
Federal employees and all do for sure. I don't know
Yeah.
if the provincial employees do up in Ontario.
Oh, get
So
away.
I'm not sure. That's their provincial government has to decide that. And I thought we were the backwards ones down
Yeah.
here in Nova Scotia. Honestly,
No, we have the most stats now.
I think we do.
Like Truth and Reconciliation Day.
Yeah, I
Decide
got
that,
that.
yeah.
I had Friday off.
Yeah.
And the week before, I got a day off of the Queen.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
you guys
too.
did,
Yeah,
right.
Ontario.
I'm
did.
retired.
Oh,
I
you're
have-
retired. Yeah.
no,
Ontario
my wife
did.
did.
Yeah,
I
there you
forgot
go.
that.
Yeah.
All in-
We've had 3. It's gonna be 4
In a row.
weekends.
In a row, yes.
4 or 3 weekends.
It's not often. Long
in a
weekends.
row. Yeah, it's long weekends. Thanksgiving, then the Truth and Reconciliation, and the Queen. Yeah.
Queen, so that'll be 4 after.
The Queen.
Yeah.
Okay, we already had the Queen's Day,
So the Queen, Truth and
So it's 3
Reconciliation.
then, I guess, and then
and
Thanksgiving.
we've got Thanksgiving
Yeah.
coming up. Right?
Yeah. But Ontario didn't get the Queen or Truth and Reconciliation. So.
And they don't get Remembrance Day.
And they don't get Remembrance Day. Crazy.
It is.
That's wild to me.
So when is are we away at on Thanksgiving or we're home? Do you know?
We're in Boston.
We're in Boston during Thanksgiving. Oh, that's next weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Well, I don't. They don't. Not that they don't mean anything to me. I think the most important day we have in this country is Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
I think it outweighs
Many
Christmas.
senses.
I think it's the most important
That's a-
recognition day we have.
I would agree.
Surprised, yeah.
I would totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I was.
Especially
My
Ottawa.
daughter
I mean,
told me.
Ottawa's Ontario, but yeah, you think
Well,
capital of Canada.
Yeah, but the federal government,
Yeah.
you'll have a day, but
Because that's where they do the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
the
They
whole
have,
wreath
that
laying
parade
ceremony.
and the wreath
yeah,
laying
no,
and-
agreed.
That's just it.
Yeah.
We're still
We're
doing
still
that.
sliding.
Keep it going. I got
Still
way
sliding.
more down on my legs than I need to. There you go. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Phil's thinking about going to Ottawa.
Easy.
I think it'd be interesting to see Phil pull out
When is
pull out a
that?
province again.
Ottawa is
Well,
November the 12th. So tell Phil we're leaving on Thursday.
So Phil
To head
and
to
John
Ottawa.
Thompson.
Phil and John Thompson.
Phil and John Thompson is going to be the
Is he the
commentator
he's
MC
commentator.
for the day.
He's MC.
I don't-
So he's not pulling.
I don't believe he's pulling.
No,
but-
he wouldn't be pulling if he's gone.
Well, no, usually, well, when I talk to him at nationals, and he finds it too difficult. to
Yeah, that's
pull.
what he told me too.
So I understand that.
Yeah.
But other than Armwrestling, he just got back from Armwrestling just a few weeks ago. He was over at Armwrestling
yeah,
again,
yeah,
right?
he just recently, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know when the last time he pulled was. Was it the Armwrestling before that?
I apparently
Or
he pulled out-
provincials?
That's a good question.
He pulled out Nova Scotia provincials this year,
He did. Yeah.
but I
don't
think he's pulled the last couple of Armwrestling. I think this is now his third Armwrestling, I
It's
think.
second, if not third, but he apparently has lots.
What's Phil laughing about?
he wants to know if you're driving.
Yes, I'm
There you
driving.
go.
I'm driving. Phil,
Got any room?
we're leaving. No, yeah, but we're going to see my daughter and my grandkids after the tournament that Sunday morning. We're heading to Niagara Falls. So
We could get him there, but
I don't know how you're going to get back. That's the only.
Drive one way, fly the other, or something.
Yeah,
Cheaper that way.
Well, and I have to bring gear, so unfortunately I wouldn't have room in my car anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Eric's running 3 tables for sure.
Yeah.
That's what he told me. So I need 3 tripods, 3
Yeah.
cameras, 3 of this. And
I'll be interested to see those matches for sure.
So
Like you were
that's-
saying, seeing Phil outside of the
Yeah,
province.
there he goes, that'd be great.
fun. Right?
it'll be a lot of fun for him, but could be more fun for some of the Ontario pullers that don't know who he is.
I feel like maybe this is just a bias from Nova Scotia and Phil being from here, but I feel like he'd be the favorite. Unless John Terrian was there, I feel like Phil would be the favorite.
It's hard to say, really. I don't know any of the
I
other
don't know.
pullers.
That's the thing. I'm being
I like
biased,
to
and I'm
say
kind of
so.
being ignorant here by saying that, but I feel like
Oh, yeah, Nova Scotia number 1 all the way. Let's
exactly. Come on.
And what's funny about what you guys say is, so for me, putting out my YouTube videos and that, Atlantic Canadian pullers don't get as much respect as I think a lot of them deserve.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I feel like there's a lot of talent here.
There is an awful lot of
A lot
talent.
of like good talent.
And across Canada, people know individual pullers.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, folks. That's not what I'm saying at
Yeah.
all. But put up a video of Ryan Espy will get more views than a video of Phil Carter, let's say.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm
it's just
choosing
based-
Phil as a name.
It's just based on notoriety and fame, and like
Yes.
that's just how it is.
No, it is how it
Devin's
is.
gonna pull more views than I'll ever pull in my entire life. That's
Oh.
just how it is. Yeah.
Well, right now, I mean, there's nobody more popular in the world than Devin as an arm wrestler.
I would say. Well, people argue that Schoolboy has way more subscribers on his YouTube channel.
Schoolboys doesn't have his channel. His brother
His brother.
has a channel.
But he's supposed to.
Alex does. No, Alex is the one.
Yeah.
They're all named Alex.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alex.
Alex,
it's just weird.
his brother,
Alexander and Alex.
That's
yeah.
right.
and the wife, Alex.
Alexandra.
Yes.
Yeah. Which
So
is, it's fun, a very Russian thing, yeah. Because apparently, I'm pretty sure Alexander, like Sasha, is another word for
Is it?
Alexander.
Is it? Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Oh, is that okay?
I believe, but
I'm Ukrainian and I don't know anything.
That's just what I heard, I think. Yeah, there might be a difference between Alex with an X and Alexander with a K. That's just off like what I've seen.
No, okay. And then the wife's name is Alexandra.
I believe so.
Yes. No. I
Which is
met
funny,
them
right?
all 3,
Yeah.
and just
So going back to Devin being the most popular, I would like to believe that too, and I would probably
Yes.
agree with you. But it was weird. The King of the Table event the other day.
Yeah.
They introduced Schoolboy. Everyone knows who Schoolboy is,
Sure.
but the commentary was the most popular arm wrestler in the world.
they have the biggest channel.
So they have the biggest channel, and I think he's the most popular outside of the arm wrestling community. Right? But if you go narrow it down to arm wrestlers, he's not. Like we know he's not.
They found
You know
that,
what I mean?
that little niche. that they're-
Devin is I still think the most popular, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
I
and
could be
maybe,
wrong.
And
I
maybe,
doesn't
and maybe Schoolboy
Maybe.
is. They have like 3 million subscribers.
Yeah, which
or
is
something.
crazy, right? That's like
Insane.
6 times the amount Devin has.
But they found that little niche, and because I think they were living around New York somewhere, and they
Yeah.
go into New York, and
Whole bunch of-
can you beat this
Can you beat
Schoolboy?
Schoolboy? That's where the name Schoolboy is.
Yes.
came from.
He was this 14, 15-year-old kid, and people were lining up to beat him.
Yeah, and that's where he got his name.
Yeah. What time of day is it?
It is 8:34.
Oh my God, it isn't. We're way over.
Yeah, we're just babbling on.
Oh yeah, way over.
Great time, man. Yeah.
And I didn't wear my watch on purpose, but like I usually try and cut it off at 8 o'clock because as we discussed, I think we discussed it off camera. I can't sit and watch somebody's podcast for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
at a certain point, it's you get a good hour. Yeah, so,
No.
it's whatever.
Well, you know what, guys?
Good
We'll have to do this
conversation.
again, though.
Yeah,
We'll have to do this again. And
Never mind the viewers, good conversation regardless, right? So,
for me, it really isn't all about viewers and that. And I understand at the beginning we have to grow something. So now I'm going to be away next week, and I thought, okay, there'll just be no show. Well, at the end of the show, when we're wrapping up, there will be something next week. I'm gonna bring my laptop and we'll do something from on the road. Just give you I'll give you a synopsis now.
Interview someone, or give like a breakdown.
No, a breakdown of what happened
What
because we'll be
happened,
back in Canada.
Yeah.
And to do it Sunday night, we're stopping in Fredericton instead of making the 11-hour drive.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Just stopping overnight.
Yeah.
And
Cut the
but
time.
like I know they're running 4 tables down at New England Championships.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, and I know people are in a hurry to see footage, but if I've got 4 tables running for 8 hours,
That's a lot of matches.
that is, and as I told you guys, I think what I'm going to try and do is start with the finals.
Yeah.
Let's say do the right-hand finals, post them right away, do the left-hand finals. If there's a big match, let's say RVJ and Tim Bresnan. I don't have any idea if their guys are going to be there.
Yeah, but just
if they, then I would edit that match first and get that out right away. So because I know everybody.
That would make sense too, right?
Yeah.
And then the other ones are more kind of archival for the people who want to go back.
Yeah.
And
that's right. I see it too. Yeah.
but the way my outlook is different than some of these other guys. So the guy I think is the most talented out there right now is Brad Cook, 217. He's the most talented videographer right now.
Brad Cook, yeah, well, I know the name.
But
What's
he
his
is
channel.
217.
217. Thank you.
217 stills?
217. Yeah.
But he goes to a tour. So let's say he goes to New England Championships. He's one guy with a camera. There's 4 tables.
Yeah.
I look at things. That's why I have 8 cameras.
Yeah.
I want every single match. Because you know what? If you're pulling amateur, you're important to that tournament too.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
I gotta say that we appreciate that. as an amateur.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why I think you might have trouble getting views because the people who go back and are so excited to see it, there's only like a handful of them, right? But
yes, no, it's true. However, what if let's say you become like number 2 in the world or something?
Exactly.
I've got all the footage from when he first started. People are trying to steal my Devon footage all the time.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. See, when I saw all those old Devon videos, then I realized you were the one who.
I'm the guy. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
wild
those
to
are
think
some of
that.
the most legendary ones.
In 10 years down the road, when me and you were pulling in the finals in the nationals, we're gonna look back and we're gonna be like, "This is where they started." This is where they are
Look
now."
at them
No, and that is true.
Or whatever.
When we become Devon layer guys,
when we're pulling WLL tournaments or.
Well, you won't be pulling WAL tournaments.
No, you think that'll ever come back?
No.
Okay.
I don't, because their model, unless they come back with a completely different model, I think the signing of contracts for the athletes, I don't think the athletes are going to sign contracts again.
No.
I don't think so.
Well, because the way the world of arm wrestling is gone, and I think that's what you're trying to say. It's just there's too
they're
much.
not going to be exclusive.
They're going to want the king of the table and the East versus West, and if they sign a contract binding them to that contract and not able to pull elsewhere, they're going to say screw that. There's too many other opportunities. No way.
That's how King of the Table, because we weren't seeing these big matches.
Well, thank God, that this.
So King of the Table started,
and East versus West.
Thank God Larry Wheels took an interest into our wrestling.
Oh, super helpful because otherwise we were so stagnant there for a while.
Yeah, then you got somebody like Engen Terzi.
Yeah, which is awesome. All the cards he's putting
together. Yeah, just some amazing matches.
Best matches you can think of.
Yeah. I mean, and then I find it funny, and no disrespect to the people here. And then we put on our little super matches here in Nova Scotia. Look,
I thought you were going to talk about the one in Toronto there. I thought that's what you were talking about.
Oh,
the
no.
$20 pay-per-view with the Zoom meeting. Anyways.
Yeah, that was I try not to. Just because it's had some political issues with that myself.
We won't go there.
Well, I'm not here to bash other people.
Of course.
But she did host that match that I thought was going to be a great. It's too bad that Sarah Wilson got injured during the match because her match with Heidi was the one match I was super looking forward to.
Heidi ended up winning, I believe.
Yeah.
Because
Sarah couldn't. She at the end she couldn't even close her hand at all.
Yeah. She must have. tendon must have left her or something.
Something. I know they slipped out and she slammed really hard into
I
the
remember seeing
table.
that. Yeah.
So
I watched it live on Zoom.
Beautiful.
I did not watch it live. I was with family.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't live.
Oh. Yeah. I did watch replays. But anyway, we're going to have to wrap up.
Yeah.
Guys. So next week on the channel, folks, coming up, we're getting down to the archives are just about out. I've just about got everything posted that I have. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, it's going to be regional arm wrestling. Rick Blanchard's promotion out of Ontario, and this is 1985 Fonzie's Nightclub. And on Wednesday, the very final spotlight. I have not prepared any more spotlights, and this is a good friend of mine from Port Perry Arm Wrestling Club out of Ontario. This, for you guys that don't know, this is a legendary arm wrestling club out of Port Perry, Ontario. Mike Gould came out of there.
Oh, really?
Pat Masterangelo, Mike Haig, and our spotlight feature is John Roberts. So a big shout out to John Roberts. Next weekend, I will be in Boston for the New England Championships, capturing as much footage from that as I can. And hopefully we'll do a live show from our hotel room in Fredericton, just doing a recap on the New England Championships. And then I think the week after that, Rick Pinkney will be back, and he's going to stop by, and we're going to talk about what happened over in France.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to hear.
So
Yeah.
from his, I got a message or two from him while it was going on, but I'll
Yeah, I've seen like little bits and pieces of what's happened, but I don't know everything.
Yeah, well, no, when I watched a little bit of video.
Yeah. Luke and Jesse were over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the picture. Nice.
Yeah,
Shout
Jesse
out
got
to-
a couple of silvers.
Yeah, maybe even golds.
I don't think he got a gold. I think
Maybe
it was
not, yeah.
2 silvers.
So that was, yeah.
And Luke, I'm not sure how Luke finished, honestly. Fifth?
Which is not bad because he missed weight and he had to go up a class.
Oh, shit,
So
really?
if you think about that, not too bad. Yeah, really.
Yeah, he missed
Fifth
weight.
is respectable. Come on,
It's a world championship.
Like, that's
yeah.
pretty respectable.
So,
Shout out to Luke.
Yeah, shout out to Luke and Jesse. For sure.
and who else from here was over there? Mark McPhail.
Was he there?
Yeah, Mark McPhail was
I didn't
there. 4th or 5th, if I remember.
It was,
I'm
yeah.
trying to remember
Yeah, he's a beast.
the results.
He's a beast.
And somebody I just met at the Canadian Nationals, Dan Plexman from Ontario.
I did see that.
Yes.
The Plex man, and just I learned a little bit about his story when I was out in Winnipeg, and just reading more where they gave him a 13% chance of living after his.
I
Yeah,
remember
right.
reading all that too.
That's
I
all
remember
crazy.
seeing like something posted about
Yeah,
that.
he posted it.
Yeah, that's
a little bit of his.
And then he
little bit
ended
of
up
story.
winning 2 golds or something.
Yeah. Like phenomenal job. Joe Gould from Ontario was there. Troy Eaton from Ontario was there. Troy captured a gold medal and a world title. Like, good for Troy.
Congrats to everyone, to all the bowlers there.
I know Joe Gould was online saying that I'm not going to be this big when I come back next year. He's going to go for a smaller weight
Go for a
class.
smaller class. Yeah.
And I know I'm not going to remember everybody from out west. Mason DeRossi in the juniors, he got a couple of goals.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible from what I've heard, from what I've seen.
I watched him at Canadian Nationals.
Yeah, he won that.
And he's just a kid, just a phenomenal.
20 years old or something.
Yeah, something like that, but phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I think he's been brought up in arm
Oh
wrestling.
yeah,
His
he
parents
didn't
arm
just
wrestle.
start arm wrestling last week.
Yeah, no, that's for damn sure. But
Yeah.
that's on tap for next week, and we've talked way longer than we need to, and I appreciate you guys stopping by, and we will have to do this again. It was an interesting chat, interesting conversation,
Pleasure was all.
and I like to hear your guys' stories about how you got in, and you pulling down to Philly. That's really cool. That's really
Hopefully
cool.
I make it back out there sometime.
There you go.
Yeah, I like to go sometime.
Yeah, road trips are the best.
Yeah.
You guys will love road trips. But that's it for tonight, folks. We do appreciate you guys all tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Right on.
And you can cut.